High school sports fans, are you following Varsity Media on our YouTube channel? For the best coverage of New York high school sports, make sure you head to youtube.com/varsitymedia. 3 easy steps. First, hit that like button, and then be sure to subscribe. And finally, tap that yellow bell to be notified of all of our upcoming sportscasts. Thank you for following Varsity Media on YouTube.
Maspeth Federal Savings is here through it all. The ins and outs, the ups and downs. Through the winters, the summers, and even the spring of leaks. Know that Maspeth has your back. From luxury sheets to balance sheets to dancing under the stars, your mission is our mission. And when our community calls, we proudly step forward. So whether you need it now or planning for tomorrow, through all the twists and all the turns, you can always find us right here in your neighborhood.
Hey sports fans, did you know Varsity Media live stream broadcasts get viewed by college coaches nationwide? Through our announcers' storytelling and insight on your athletes, we can help your players get an edge on college recruiting. Find out how by reaching out to Varsity Media today, 516-403-2050, or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
It's a local rivalry renewed. In fact, it's the best rivalry in the borough of Queens as it moves out to Long Island. From Mitchell Field in Uniondale, New York, the Christ the King Royals take on the St. Francis Terriers on the Varsity Media Sports Network. Today's game is sponsored by Maspeth Federal Savings Bank. And we welcome you into the broadcast booth. Happy opening night, everybody. He's Mike Spina. I'm John Perez. And Mike, it's a brand new season. The sun is out, beautiful weather. And for two teams, Christ the King and St. Francis Prep, hope springs eternal. A lot of new guys, but a new season. Both teams looking to take a step in the right direction.
You know, every time you start a new season, it brings hope. You know, whether you had a good year or a bad year the following, you know, you want to come out strong. You have two teams that are looking to rebuild, looking to get started off on the right track. You know, they're not playing the powerhouses right now. They're playing each other. Nice rivalry. Great way to start.
Christ the King is looking to be that powerhouse as they move down to the AA. And let's take a look at the Royals from a year ago. A team that went 1-9. They've got a new head coach in James Coleman, a former Royal at that as well. The preseason 10th team. Got a couple of key players and key losses. But for Christ the King, a team that boasts 13 sophomores, there's an opportunity out there, Mike, for not just those sophomores to get a lot of playing time, but to garner a lot of experience to take the Royals to the next level.
You know, when you're young, you know, sometimes you have no fear. And that's the good thing about being young. Sometimes they don't know what the nerves are. They don't know what the big games are. And, again, we talk about, hey, new season, new hope, and some of these sophomores are going to get their feet wet right away. So they're going to try to establish the run. It's going to be exciting to see them, you know, get the season off to the right start.
Meanwhile, on the other side, St. Francis Prep a year ago went 3-6 in the AA. They're a team that's going to boast 26 juniors in there. They have Chris Felly, Peyton Buchanan. It's going to be a lot to replace the services of Brian Daly and Isaiah DeCruz, but very similar to Christ the King, a team that will also look to establish the run, but trying to make some noise in the AA.
Yeah, you know, again, you know, with Christ the King coming down from the AAA, you know, this is going to be a nice even matchup, and, you know, they have a little bit more experience. Some of those juniors got some playing time last year, so they are going to try to establish the run, and they're going to see if they can set the tone right from the opening kickoff.
With that said, let's take a look at our players to watch for Christ the King, and they've got two players players that are trying to assert dominance in Middle Village. It starts with Sean Rodriguez. He's number one in your playbook, number one in James Coleman's heart. Technically a running back, but just a pure athlete. He brings so much to the table. And then on defense, keep an eye out for number 52, Jacob McFarland. He's a beast.
Yeah, McFarland's all over the field. I mean, Coach loves him. You know, he says he's the key to the defense. While Rodriguez on offense, you're going to see him getting a lot of touches, whether it's through the air or on the ground.
Meanwhile, St. Francis Prep, the returners that they have are super athletic as we look at those two players to watch, and it'll be Chris Felly along with Sebastian Cordarolo. Look at the numbers on Cordarolo. He was 5th in the conference in receptions, 18 receptions for a team that primarily ran the ball. It just goes to show how good his hands were, and Chris Felly looking to be that anchor on the Terriers defense.
Well, it's the same thing. You know, he's going to be the anchor of that defense. He's going to be all over the field, and, you know, I'm sure we're going to be calling his name a lot today.
So we mentioned a few keys as we get ready, but let's take a look at the two keys for this game as Christ the King and St. Francis Prep looking to get their opening night victory.
Well, Christ the King has got to set the tone on defense. I mean, you know, talking to the coach, they want to control the ball. You know, they want to take a deep breath. They don't want to get themselves really nervous. They know that they're young and stuff like that. So it's all about poise, and it starts with the head coach. And he's a first-year head coach, too. So it's good to start from the top. You know, with St. Francis Prep, it's always been establish the run, be ready to adjust on defense. You have to make good adjustments when you're playing a team that's running spread offense, and they're going to try to match their energy. You already know that Christ the King is going to come out here with energy. So St. Francis Prep has to match the energy with a team that's coming down from AAA.
It's going to be a fun one. It's the Royals, it's the Terriers, it's a rivalry as old as time in Queens, and it's all coming up next on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Maspeth Federal Savings is here through it all. The ins and outs, the ups and downs. Through the winters, the summers, and even the spring leaks. Know that Maspeth has your back. From luxury sheets to balance sheets to dancing under the stars, your mission is our mission. And when our community calls, we proudly step forward. So whether you need it now or planning for tomorrow, through all the twists and all the turns, you can always find us right here in your neighborhood.
Did you just have the best athletic year of your life? And now you want to show it off to college coaches? Well, let Varsity Media help you. Varsity Media's college recruiting videos show off your unique skills to help you land a spot on the team of your dream school. We'll provide music, spot shadow effects, and a link to send to your next coach. Contact us today for more information. Don't rely on word of mouth or cold emails. Let Varsity Media help you take your game to the next level.
Hey Mom and Dad, how about a personalized hype video of your athlete produced by Varsity Media? Cinematic coverage of game action, plus on-camera interviews by our crew set to music will make your son or daughter look like the next superstar. Perfect for social media fame and college recruiting. Don't wait, reach out today. Spots are limited this fall. 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
Varsity Media offers live streaming services for any sport. With human beings behind the camera, you can expect the proper coverage angles during each game. We offer customizable options such as live scoreboard, multiple cameras, instant replay, graphics, and even announcers. Find out how you can save $100 off a live stream package with Varsity Media by calling 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
Maspeth Federal Savings is here through it all. The ins and outs, the ups and downs. Through the winters, the summers, and even the spring leaks. Know that Maspeth has your back. From luxury sheets to balance sheets to dancing under the stars, your mission is our mission. And when our community calls, we proudly step forward. So whether you need it now or planning for tomorrow, through all the twists and all the turns, you can always find us right here in your neighborhood.
Did you just have the best athletic year of your life? And now you want to show it off to college coaches? Well, let Varsity Media help you. Varsity Media's college recruiting videos show off your unique skills to help you land a spot on the team of your dream school. We'll provide music, spot shadow effects, and a link to send to your next coach. Contact us today for more information. Don't rely on word of mouth or cold emails. Let Varsity Media help you take your game to the next level.
Hey Mom and Dad, how about a personalized hype video of your athlete produced by Varsity Media? Cinematic coverage of game action, plus on-camera interviews by our crew set to music will make your son or daughter look like the next superstar. Perfect for social media fame and college recruiting. Don't wait, reach out today. Spots are limited this fall. 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
Varsity Media offers live streaming services for any sport. With human beings behind the camera, you can expect the proper coverage angles during each game. We offer customizable options such as live scoreboard, multiple cameras, instant replay, graphics, and even announcers. Find out how you can save $100 off a live stream package with Varsity Media by calling 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
Maspeth Federal Savings is here through it all. The ins and outs, the ups and downs. Through the winters, the summers, and even the spring leaks. Know that Maspeth has your back. From luxury sheets to balance sheets to dancing under the stars, your mission is our mission. And when our community calls, we proudly step forward. So whether you need it now or planning for tomorrow, through all the twists and all the turns, you can always find us right here in your neighborhood.
Did you just have the best athletic year of your life? And now you want to show it off to college coaches? Well, let Varsity Media help you. Varsity Media's college recruiting videos show off your unique skills to help you land a spot on the team of your dream school. We'll provide music, spot shadow effects, and a link to send to your next coach. Contact us today for more information. Don't rely on word of mouth or cold emails. Let Varsity Media help you take your game to the next level. Back here at Mitchell Field, St. Francis Prep and Christ the King set to go, soon to be under the lights here in Uniondale, one of the oldest rivalries in Queens, two schools that are separated by 5 miles apart. He's Mike Spina, I'm John Perez, and Mike, it's going to be a fun one, and I think it's going to be an interesting season for both Christ the King and St. Francis Prep. A lot to prove this year. They've got a young team. I think, without obviously putting a number on the amount of wins or where they'll finish in the standings, I think the biggest thing, and you know this as a coach, is probably just trying to get better every single day and build towards the future, considering that these are two programs that are, number one, rebuilding, and two, a majority of these players will be playing on this team, not just next year, but probably the following year.
You hit the nail right on the head. It's every day you want to get better. You're not going to, climb the top of the mountain all in one day. So each day, whether it's practice or a game, you want to focus on getting better. Set small goals. You get small goals, and then you get to reach the top of the mountain. If you set too high of goals and you don't meet them, and then kids start to drop off. So when you're trying to rebuild, set those small goals each play. Play every play like it's the last one. Get a little bit better. See what happens. And you're right. It's not about wins and losses right now because both teams are rebuilding and they're so young.
The interesting thing about St. Francis Prep is that they feel like they've got more depth this year than they do a year ago, but they did have the three-headed monster. You think of Deonis Best, you think of Isaiah DeCruz, Brian Daly. Those players aren't here anymore, but Rich Carroll feels that he's got the squad that can sort of level that out, and he's got more of those players that he can grow into. So there's going to be two teams that are very fun to watch this year, and it should be a fun game. If you love ground and pound, this is the game for you, Christ the King and St. Francis Prep.
Back to return for the Terriers.
As the Terriers won the toss, they elected to get the ball to start off the contest. And it'll be our QB1, who is kicker number 1, Jordan Milutinovich, will boot it away for the Christ the King Royals. And how about that? Giving the sophomore a lot of responsibility on his shoulders. He's got to kick. He's got to control the offense. And
the coach says he's a workaholic. He does everything.
And an interesting formation for Christ the King as well. As Milutinovic, the short kick. And we're underway. The 2023 season begins for both of these squads as it's returned by the Terriers' Vincent Costanza, who is upended by Kamarian Thomas.
Short kick, what you want to do on a kickoff return is you want to make sure that you have guys that can catch the short kick. You don't want that ball hitting the ground. So good job by St. Francis Prep. Great field position starting at the 43-yard line. So let's see what happens with their ground and pound offense right now.
As the Terriers are led by their quarterback, Tommy Zullo, the junior out of Flushing, two-sport athlete, is the point guard and now the quarterback for the St. Francis Prep Terriers, someone who likes to take control of the huddle. And he's taken control since the beginning of the summer, the 7-on-7s. It's his offense. And the first handoff of the season goes to Jonathan Ngayan, but he's upended right away by Angel Pena, who James Coleman says is a spark plug of the defense.
Well, St. Francis Prep is running wing T, so there's going to be gaps. If Christ the King wants to stop this wing T, they're going to start shooting gaps. And, that's evident on the first play with Angel Pena just split the gap right there and making a tackle for a loss.
And here's the rest of that Royals defense. Lester, Thomas, McFarland, Eaton, Pena, Cespedes, Simon, Medina, Fernandez, Hendrickson, and Jonathan DeJesus. We'll meet the Terriers offense momentarily, but 2nd and 18 from the 35. And it's caught on the far side by Peyton Buchanan, the track star. Galloping up ahead, might have a first down. And boy, Peyton Buchanan really adding that first step and has a good stride. Almost picks up the first down for the Terriers if they're not going to give it to him.
Yeah, he just went out of bounds a little bit short, but that's a great call. They're stacking the box with 9 guys, so you do a little play-action fake and just throw a little bubble out to the side. There was nobody there. That was a great tackle, and, that's a good play right there for St. Francis Prep.
And there's the offense for the Terriers, and a few names like we mentioned, Buchanan, Cordarolo, and Guyan. The handoff, and Guyan again. He's mighty, but he's got a head of steam, busting into the Royals' territory, now into the red zone, and finally pushed out of bounds. Keep an eye out on Jonathan Ngayan, the junior out of Belrose, one of the students of the game. A high IQ, reads the hole well, and he does so in his first carry into Royals territory.
Great job by the offensive line sealing the edge. Again, they're coming and selling out with 9 guys in the box. And they're playing man-to-man on the corners, so the receiver just did a great job. He ran a go route, and he didn't even have to block the guy. So, nice play by St. Francis Prep running the wing take.
Something that the Terriers did so well last year, running the wing T. Of course, that's been a staple for Rich Carroll. And the delayed handoff, busting up ahead. And that's Frankie Valvo, the junior out of Middle Village. He's a fullback. And with some positive yardage.
Very nice inside guard trap right there. Valvo just followed his guard just on a small little, what we call a little gut trap, kicking out the defensive tackle and gaining 6, 7, 8 yards.
Well, they'll give him a little more on that, too. Positive yardage. So 2nd and 1 from the 7. And St. Francis Prep playing with some house money. They could obviously go for the end zone. They've got a couple of shots, and then they've got an opportunity to move the chains even more and set up a 1st and goal situation. Zullo dumps it over, and Guyan had trouble making the catch and is upended, driven back and stepped over by Jonathan DeJesus.
Went back to that play action, little bubble to the motion back. It's a dangerous play at the goal line because you throw the ball behind. If it's incomplete, that's a fumble. So to me, that's a very dangerous play, not second-guessing anybody. But, you're gutting them up the middle right now. Stay with it. It doesn't look like they have an answer for that guard trap or the buck sweep.
And the one interesting thing, too, is that they don't have a receiver that is 6'5", is slender, can go one-on-one, because Christ the King, one of their issues on defense is their size. They are a shorter team. They are a high IQ, but they are shorter, so you're not going to see those fade routes or anything of that nature and Guyan then hands it back off and is taken down in the backfield. So back-to-back plays for losses, as that's Amani Cespedes with the tackle. And just like that, it's third and probably about 6.
Yeah, they came with a little, what we call a scissors play. It's almost like a double handoff inside, and Cespedes did a great job reading it. You know, the one thing guarding against a wing T is if you look in the backfield, you're going to be all over the place. Their coaches are doing a good job right now. You look at the guards are going to take you to 90% of the plays. So they did a good job at the goal line stand, forcing them for at least a field goal try.
And it'll be Petros Hatzamatis. Was 9 for 9 on extra points a season ago. A 19-yard field goal attempt. Kick is down. And it splits the uprights, and the Terriers score on their first drive. A good hold by Peyton Buchanan as Hatzamitis drills it. And the Terriers with a 3-0 lead, and now the concern for Hatzamitis is if he's okay. Took a slip afterwards. Not sure if there was running into the kicker, but either way, the Terriers with a 3-0 lead thanks to the 19-yard field goal by Petros Hatzamitis. And we'll take a break. Royals will get the ball when we come back on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
This is Solomon Thomas with the New York Jets, and you're watching Varsity Media.
Maspeth Federal Savings is here through it all. The ins and outs, the ups and downs. Through the winters, the summers, and even the spring of leaks. Know that Maspeth has your back. From luxury sheets to balance sheets to dancing under the stars, your mission is our mission. And when our community calls, we proudly step forward. So whether you need it now or planning for tomorrow, through all the twists and all the turns, you can always find us right here in your neighborhood.
Back here at Mitchell Field, a 19-yard field goal by Petros Hatzamitis. Makes it 3-0 Terriers, and now a new kicker will be Christian Colangelo. We saw Petros take a little bit of a spill afterwards, needed help coming off the field, and you hope that he's able to get back into this game, and obviously a big part to the Terriers' special teams, and now the job goes over to Colangelo.
Nice drive by St. Francis Prep. You know, they wanted to establish the run, which they did, and then nice job by Christ the King with the goal line stand. So both teams should be a little happy right now.
And I think one of the good things, too, about having Hatzamitis is that ball is muffed underneath, and the Terriers say they have it. Amani Cespedes did not get the fortuitous bounce, and it's recovered by the Terriers, Liam Looney, the senior.
Well, I said before on the first kickoff, you have to have guys that want to catch the ball. You look here, it's a pooch kick, and the ball hits the ground, and it's a football, it's not a basketball. That ball is bounding all over the place. Cespedes tried to dive on it, and it just popped up. Great way to start if you're St. Francis Prep right now. You should be all excited.
Ideal field position for the Terriers as Tommy Zulo goes back out under center. And Guyan charging ahead. The pit bull inside the 20. Jonathan and Guyan with a 5-yard gain, helping out the Terriers. And we mentioned that Rich Carroll says he's a pit bull, and boy, could you tell he's been ready for the start of this game.
Oh, he's ready, and they went right back to their bread and butter. They went back to the buck sweep, and give Jaden Cerullo a lot of credit on that block. He did a great job kicking out, and, you know, that's what happens. Your bread and butter is your buck sweep, your cross block, and your gut trap. If you can get those 3 parts of your offense established, wing T is very tough to stop. And then you can throw in your play action with your waggle.
Cirillo, one of those guys that spent a lot of time in the weight room, put on a lot of mass, and has gotten better with his footwork. And I'd imagine as a coach, that's exactly what you want out of your linemen.
Absolutely. You want strength, but you also want speed. You don't want them getting too big where they can't move. It's all about flexibility and speed.
Prep is moving now, 1st and 10 from the 18. Zulo keeps it himself. Ranging wide, flag is down, charging ahead. Tommy Zulo darts out of bounds. And we'll see if the hold moves him back. And that's exactly what the head referee, John Santiago, says.
Yeah, they came back with the waggle on 1st down trying to catch him, and unfortunately there was a hold on the outside. The defensive end did a really nice job maintaining outside leverage, and, you know, the offensive guard actually did hold him right here, number 51.
That's Kareem Vessup, the junior.
And this is what kills drives. I mean, you pounding away, and this is what happens with young teams. Young teams make mistakes. The veteran teams don't. So when you get these penalties, you go from 1st and 10, possibly with another 4, 5, 6-yard positive play, to now all of a sudden you're 1st and 20. And this offense is not built to throw the ball. It's built to run the ball. So let's see how they adjust right now on 1st and 20.
Well, if they are going to throw it, they've got Sebastian Quartarolo down underneath, but this is a good guy to pitch it to. Peyton Buchanan going into second gear, galloping ahead before being driven back by Jonathan DeJesus.
Just a quick pitch, and what's happening right now, Christ the King is playing man coverage on the outside. And St. Francis Prep wide receivers are doing a great job. They're just running go routes. They're running them off. They're not even blocking. So there is nobody on the edge. So if you can seal that defensive end, there's nobody outside. It's off to the races.
Pickup of 9 for the Rosedale product. They call Peyton Buchanan Sticks because of his physique. And, when your best event or best sporting event, of course, is the sprint medley relay or the 4x1, you're going to have a name like Sticks.
Oh, listen, if you can run, catch, you can call him whatever you want to call him. As long as he's doing what they want. No stoppage here. Not sure why. It looks like they're having a problem with the down marker right now. Looks like the line judge over there is trying to figure out.
Yeah, that's Engin Suvak. Let's meet the Zebras while we have the time. So Brian Thorman is the headlinesman. Walter Duarte is the back judge. The umpire is Doug DeGree, and we just saw John Santiago wearing the white hat as Engin trying to turn it over, and Bob Mackey will come in and try and help him, the athletic director for Christ the King. If there's anybody who has dad energy or someone who will come in and fix it, I think it's Bob Mackey as you take a look at the scissors in his back pocket. And maybe this is just me when I was a child, but I always felt when there was something wrong with the television, I would restart it, I would plug it in, plug it out, do whatever you got to do. My dad walks into the room, does the same exact thing, and it's fixed.
Experience.
Right. That's...
We're going to just call it experience. And it's funny, being the dad that I am at my age, I got my 3 kids, they're always saying, Dad, can you do this? Dad, can you do that? You know what my answer is? Ask Mom.
There you go.
In my household, my wife does all the hard work that way.
I heard that response too, so I'm with you. But Bob Mackey gets it to go, and now the Prep offense gets set to go. Buchanan stuffed in front and a flag out of the end zone.
It's going to be another holding penalty. Cespedes is all over the field. Again, he's reading the guards right now, and he saw that guard pull. He found a window, and that was a great tackle. But this hold is going to push St. Francis Prep back another 10 yards. So they're shooting themselves in the foot right now with this drive. So this is where we say, take a deep breath, regroup, don't panic. You're still in great field position. You're still at the 30-yard line, and you still have 3 downs here.
Let me flip that on you, Mike. Does that give the back-to-back penalties or 2 penalties in the sake of a drive after a muff kick, does this kind of let Christ the King recalibrate and take a deep breath themselves and feel that they catch a break?
100%. They've regrouped.
So 2nd and 20, Quartarolo makes the catch and nowhere to go. And like you mentioned, there's that man again, Amani Cespedes, coming out of nowhere. Cespedes is a guy wearing 44 in white that is just looking for a home. He started his career at Fort Hamilton, then went over to John Bound, which geographically are not exactly in the same neighborhood. Fort Hamilton all the way down in Brooklyn, John Bound in Flushing. But James Coleman hoping that Cespedes finally has a home in Middle Village, and he has his fingerprints all over the first 6 minutes of this contest.
Oh, he's all over the field. And we talk about, he's the key to the defense right now. He's the quarterback of the defense.
3rd and 19. It gets to Buchanan. Buchanan with a head of steam. Another flag is out. He's got a first down. The ball comes loose. Christ the King's on top of it. We'll see if they recover it. They do. And the Royals get the benefit of the penalty. They pick up the fumble. And the Royals, I think they just want possession now. But either way, what a break for Christ the King. Let's take another look.
They came back with that inside scissors, which is the one that they had problems before. Would have had the first down. Nice hit right there.
And you know who that is? That's Jonathan DeJesus, the Brooklynite.
Well, that's called not giving up on a play. No matter where you are, you can never give up on a play. And that fumble was at, the 6-7 yard line. And you talk about how penalties hurt drives. Well, Christ the King took that deep breath that we talked about in the pregame. They're young. After that fumble on the kickoff, first play, big play. Now you take a deep breath. Yes, they were aided by the 2 holding penalties, but you want something. This game has turned right now. And if Christ the King right now can put a drive together, that will take all the momentum away from what St. Francis Prep did in the first 7 minutes of this game.
And they'll be led by this man, Jordan Milutinovic, the first-year QB, getting his first career varsity start. Welcome to the show, young man. Backed up nearly in his own end zone. And he hands it off right away to Sean Rodriguez, the senior athlete.
And he's only a sophomore. Coach says he doesn't really throw a deep ball, so they're going to run spread. But they're running a spread not to throw the ball. They're running a spread to spread the defense out and look for those lanes. And they're going to run some zones and some tackle wraps and see if they can, catch St. Francis Prep with their aggressiveness.
There's the rest of the offense for Christ the King. A lot of two-way guys, so we saw these guys on defense. Now they're back on offense as Milutinovic gets ready to go. 2nd and 10, back-to-back gives to Rodriguez. And push back on the pile. And a big tackle by A.J. Brown, one of the 2 sophomores on the roster on this defense. He and Troy Faison, the 2 sophomores for St. Francis Prep. And here's the rest of their defense. Tristan Hillman was a tight end last year. Now he's spotlighting as a D-end. A.J. Brown, Vessup, Smallwood, Felly, Alvia, Gregoranio, Colangelo, Faison. Randy Yu gets the start, and Peyton Buchanan. And what a story for Randy Yu. More on that in a moment. 3rd down and 12 from the 5. The sweep, it's Jaden Capella. Nowhere to go. So St. Francis Prep, like you said, were their own worst enemies. Their defense picking up for their miscues as Christ the King will be set to punt.
As coaches, you always say to a defense, after a turnover, you want to hold a team to a 3 and out. You want to take the game back in your hands. And that's what they did. They went 3 plays minus 2 yards. And, if you're Christ the King, you're sitting there saying, wait, we caught a break, but now you go backwards. Now you're punting from your own end zone. This is dangerous.
And Milutinovic with a short punt. As Prep receives, this is Christian Colangelo. And Colangelo darts inside to the red zone. And a good pickup. And now we've got an injured Royal down by the 8-yard line.
It looks like number 7, Jordan Cali. But that was a weird thing. For whatever reason, Amani Cespedes ran in front of the punter. And the depth of the punter, which was the quarterback, was only about 6 yards. It almost looked like a quick kick. They were very fortunate that the ball didn't hit Cespedes in the back.
Well, listen, you're a varsity coach. You've been around football forever. I think you love young players, right? But they probably also frustrate you like any other, and youth is just rearing its head in this first quarter. We'll take a quick break while Christ the King gets tended to. You're watching CHSFL football presented by Maspeth Federal Savings on the Varsity Media Sports Network. You're watching Varsity Media, New York's premier high school sports network.
Hey sports fans, did you know Varsity Media live stream broadcasts get viewed by college coaches nationwide? Through our announcers' storytelling and insight on your athletes, we can help your players get an edge on college recruiting. Find out how by reaching out to Varsity Media today, 516-403-2050, or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
Hey Mom and Dad, how about a personalized hype video of your athlete produced by Varsity Media? Cinematic coverage of game action, plus on-camera interviews by our crew set to music will make your son or daughter look like the next superstar. Perfect for social media fame and college recruiting. Don't wait, reach out today. Spots are limited this fall. 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
Johan Cali being taken off by Christ the King, and hope that he is okay. Had to be carried off, and play will resume. It's St. Francis ball inside the 20 as they'll spot him at the 17-yard line. And another short field for St. Francis Prep, and an opportunity to put more points on the board. The lone score, a 19-yard field goal by Petros Hazamitsalis. And that's where we stand right now with just under 4 minutes to play in the first quarter. He's Mike Spina, I'm John Perez, and that's Tommy Zullo, flanked by Peyton Buchanan and number 25, Frankie Valvo. Ball comes loose. Royals might have it. It's a fight for the possession, but it looks like Marcus Jean-Baptiste gets it, and he does. Big Marcus with the awareness forces the turnover.
That's a huge turnaround for Christ the King. They were back on the heels once again. It was going to be a quick pitch. Just, you see the youth of both teams. Juniors, sophomores, it is showing up right now. It is game one. You know, how much time did they have to prep for this game? You know, we prep all summer. We get ourselves ready with a scrimmage, and we open up next week. But this is almost like a week early. So how much prep did they really have? Did they have a scrimmage? And it's hard because you're young. You need that team continuity all summer, you know, preseason to get themselves in mid-season form. And it looks like right now they're both struggling a little bit.
Well, we go back to the sophomore, Milutinovic. Rodriguez, nowhere to go, taken down by Julian Melendez, the junior from Bayside. Someone who has really made a name for himself on the defense over the last half of last year, and a big play late in the first quarter.
Well, right now, St. Francis Prep is dominating the line of scrimmage. And if you just can cut those penalties off what they're doing, they have dominated from start to finish up front.
A loss of 5 as Milutinovic gets ready to go on second down. Rodriguez gives up ahead and gets back to the line of scrimmage.
Again, it looks like the Christ the King has no answers for this defense. They're flying to the ball. There's no kind of misdirection going on right now. They're going to have to throw the ball. They're loading the box right now. You have to loosen them up, even if it's incomplete.
Well, and then so what type of plays do you do to kind of loosen up your quarterback who you're going to need to eventually throw the ball? As they don't do it here, and the sweep goes to the far side. That's Justin Medina. Might have picked up a pair, and it'll be fourth down.
Well, you know, Coach talked about that. It's not a strong-arm quarterback. So the two things that you're going to have to do is you're going to have to run some kind of play action, or you're going to have to get him outside on the run, whether it's a sprint out or a boot, something to get him out of the pocket. And again, here's that short snap. He's only about 7 yards from the line of scrimmage.
It looks like he's in the shotgun.
Yes.
And the higher punt out around the 42-yard line. And we'll wait for the official spot as the Terriers take over at the 41.
I think Coach Carroll right now is probably saying to himself, let's get back to the basics. Let's go back to our guard trap. Let's go back to our buck sweep. Let's go back to what has given us positive yards. So I'm expecting first or second play, they're going to go with that outside buck sweep. They're going to go with an inside guard trap. And they usually run it to the split end side where he's just going to run the corner off.
Oh, there's that handoff on the near side. And I believe that's the first carry for Julian Morales, the junior. before being taken down by Justin Medina.
And you want to talk about old school football, they came out in a T, which is 3 running backs straight across. So he's trying to mix things up right now. Same formation.
Just over a minute to go in the first quarter. Ground and pound affair. Peyton Buchanan nudges up ahead and picks up a pair.
That's a great play again by Cespedes, coming hard on a stunt, turning him in, giving him no room to get outside. Because, again, with this coverage, the cornerback is basically going to be out of the play.
Kamarian Thomas with the tackle in there as well. And Thomas, one of those guys that will rotate at the linebacker position, but someone who always seems to be around the play as well. He and Cespedes, along with Angel Pena, will be fun to watch for Christ the King defensively. 3rd and 8, 25 seconds to go, opening quarter. Zullo whips it. And the catch by Ariel Marin. And Marin gets out of bounds with 17.9 ticks on the clock.
Going to be 4th and 3. A nice little flood pass. They flood the zone. They take the open receiver. So it's now 4th down and very manageable.
4th and 1.
Would love to pick up the first down before the end of the quarter. We'll see if Christ the King has another stop in them.
You're going to see 9, 10 guys in the box. There'll be no free safety. This is either a stop or a touchdown, the way they're playing this.
Well, here's Buchanan moving ahead. Flag is out, and should be a hold against the Terriers.
Yeah, it's right at the point of attack, so the official has no choice but to throw the flag. He's doing a good job sealing them, but he's getting his hands on the outside. And, you know, they're shooting themselves in the foot. That's, what, the 3rd holding penalty of the game.
Yeah, you got it. And, you know, it adds up, right, over the course of a game. That's now 30 yards that St. Francis Prep has been pushed back. And you take a look, and, yeah, the culprit is Karnowitz.
As a coach, I would say I don't like that call.
We'll see if we got a playoff. 5 seconds to go and rolling, and have to imagine we will go to the second quarter, and now it's official. St. Francis Prep and Christ the King. After one, a 3-0 lead for the Terriers, thanks to the 19-yard field goal by Petro Hatzimahalis. It's a local rivalry on opening night. You're watching CHSFL football presented by Maspeth Federal Savings Bank on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Maspeth Federal Savings is here through it all. The ins and outs, the ups and downs. Through the winters, the summers, and even the spring of leaks. Know that Maspeth has your back. From luxury sheets to balance sheets to dancing under the stars, your mission is our mission. And when our community calls, we proudly step forward. So whether you need it now or planning for tomorrow, through all the twists and all the turns, you can always find us right here in your neighborhood.
Did you just have the best athletic year of your life? And now you want to show it off to college coaches? Well, let Varsity Media help you. Varsity Media's college recruiting videos show off your unique skills to help you land a spot on the team of your dream school. We'll provide music, spot shadow effects, and a link to send to your next coach. Contact us today for more information. Don't rely on word of mouth or cold emails. Let Varsity Media help you take your game to the next level. Start of the second quarter on the Varsity Media Sports Network, and there's the new head coach, James Coleman. Once a Royal, always a Royal, playing for Christ the King in the early 10s or aughts or whatever you want to call it, from 2011 to 2014, and then playing at Buffalo. He played at Christ the King. He was under Tyree Allison. Now he is the man in charge after being an assistant for so many years under Jason Brown, hoping to establish a new culture of stability on and off the field. As St. Francis Prep is punting, might have been muffed as the ball rolls out of bounds around the 32-yard line.
That's an interesting play right there. And, you talk about Coach Coleman. I remember 32 years ago when I had my first head coaching job, and I had the same situation. We were a bunch of sophomores, a couple juniors. I took over the Floral Park program, and my first year we were 0-7-1. We tied Plain Edge 7-7, and then we went on a nice run because we established the culture. And from the very beginning of the summer, that culture was established, and we went on a nice run for 23 years before now moving on. But it was nice to start. And, you can't get frustrated by little things. And right now, if you're Coach Coleman, you're like, hey, with all the mistakes and everything, it's a 3-0 game. And that was either blocked, but they also caught a break. St. Francis, it looked like the punter's knee was on the ground on a snap. And I don't know if he got it up in time or if it was just missed. But, again, it was either blocked or a shank, but they got great field position. They're at the 32-yard line. So let's see if they can start establishing the running game a little bit. They need something positive because their defense will wear down at some point.
It'll be interesting to see. We haven't even seen a play-action play yet for Milutinovic and the rest of the offense. Now Jaden Capella goes in motion. And Milutinovic airs it out, going deep, incomplete. The intended receiver was Gabe Reynoso. Randy Yu with the coverage. And we mentioned Randy Yu earlier in the broadcast. You, a guy on St. Francis Prep that was always a career backup wearing number 13 in blue. But now he gets the start, and he was somebody that was not projected to start but worked so well in the offseason. You got to love a story like that, right?
Oh, it's great. I mean, a backup, running back, now he gets a chance to start at cornerback. That's what you want from these kids. Don't sit there and pack it in. Get excited. Go earn a spot.
This time a little bit easier for Capella, but not easy against the teeth of that front four for the Terriers. That was Aiden Alvia again, the junior from Jackson Heights.
Yeah, he's been all over the field as well. Again, the defensive line for Prep is dominating. And you could see the strength, the quickness. And right now, Christ the King doesn't have an answer. They did try to go deep, but I still think they need to get some kind of play action because they are flying to the ball right now.
One of the things that James Coleman had in his advantage was he was already in the building. He's a dean of Christ the King. As the handoff on 3rd down and long, the flag is out. And that was Justin Medina, and I'd have to imagine this is probably going to get pushed back for the holding, but they'll decline it. But anyway, as it pertains to Coleman, and now the holding is official, they had just been in the weight room up until 3 weeks ago. They really weren't on the field as a collective whole. There were some 7-on-7s there, but the first 7-on-7 at Chaminade in the middle of August was the first time that they actually ran football plays. And he said that he wanted his team to at least build a fraternal-type atmosphere and a good culture, and he's had that in there. But having said that, on the other hand, you do have to start practicing some plays, and you do have to start getting your offense and defense in check, and it's going to be a long season, but either way for Christ the King, as Milutinovic with the short punt gets it off and takes a Royals bounce across midfield. And Henry Lagahazir picks it up.
47-yard line. First and 10, Terriers.
You talk about being in a weight room, you talk about 7-on-7s, and 7-on-7 is great. Okay, you get the guys out, you get them throwing the ball around. Football is won on the line of scrimmage. I've been doing this for a long time. The team that dominates the line of scrimmage 95% of the time is what team wins a game. There's that 5% where something freaky happens. But if you control the line of scrimmage, you can dictate what you're doing offensively. You can dictate what you're doing defensively. And I will talk about special teams in a little bit because that's coming into play right now.
Well, it's been the main difference in this game, too, a 19-yard field goal. Here comes the blitz, and here come the Royals. Henry Lagahazir with the takedown.
And again, Christ the King is putting 9 guys in the box. You can't block them. They're rushing 7. You can only block 6. When you release 4 with the quarterback, you can't block 7, and that's what they're coming with.
You know what's interesting about Christ the King over the years is that throwing the records out of the equation, it always seems like they've always had a big front four that always made it difficult for opposing offenses, and that at least is the luxury for Coleman as a flag will go down and a false start for the Terriers.
Well, what's happening right now is both defensive lines are dominating the game. For St. Francis Prep, when they're on defense, Christ King doesn't have an answer. And there's times when right now, and it's not so much the defensive front for Christ the King, it's these two linebackers. They're all over the field. Cespedes and Thomas. And then moving Cespedes to the end. He's playing sometimes 3 yards off the ball. Sometimes they're walking him up to the wing back. So he's all over the field. But Thomas is just flying tonight.
We go from one Thomas to another. Tommy Zulo, 2nd and 25. Hand off up the middle to the fullback, Valvo. And Valvo picks up a couple. And Rich Carroll says that Frankie Valvo is the player where the offense starts. And he really puts a lot of trust in his fullback. And you'd have to imagine, or I'm kind of curious, Mike, with the offense that St. Francis Prep runs, how important is that fullback position?
It's besides the quarterback, it's the most important position because the fullback establishes the run game. You have to establish the guard trap, what we call the cross block, before you can get to that outside buck sweep or quick pitch. So if your fullback is tough, that's going to bring people inside. If your fullback is not a threat, you can play a perimeter defense.
Zulo back to pass on 3rd down. Lets it fly, going deep. And too much mustard in the direction of Julian Melendez.
And a lot of pressure came from the two guys that I've been talking about, Thomas and Cespedes. One on a blitz coming from the middle and one coming from the outside. If he would have had a little bit more time, a split second, if you watch the replay, he's wide open. He's got 3 steps.
I think you could hear the sigh of relief from C.J. Fernandez on that replay as Prep is forced to punt again. Hatzimahales gets it off. It's muffed. Rodriguez, and the Terriers have it. We'll see if they say he was down. St. Francis believes they have it, and they do.
If you remember what I said about 7, 8, 9 minutes ago about special teams, it's a third of the game. And people don't put that much emphasis on special teams. They work on their passing game. They work on their defense. They work on their, rapid alignments and stuff like that. But right now, St. Francis Prep, not only are they winning the line of scrimmage, they're winning the special teams. There is a flag on the field right now. So I'm not sure what's happening here. So this all could be for naught.
Well, credit Anthony Massia for not giving up on the play. As we wait for an official ruling by John Santiago.
It's either a hold or an illegal formation because they marched it back already. So Christ the King caught a break.
And Prep will punt again. As we'll take another look.
Let's see. Oh, a low chop block.
Yeah.
You cannot block below the waist. So that's a personal foul. So that is a great call by this crew.
So take 2 for the Terriers. And Rodriguez this time will let it go. And another flag down for St. Francis Prep.
This is going to be some kind of a personal foul. I'm going to say this is one of those defenseless player blocks that are nowhere near the play.
It's actually going to go against Christ the King.
Yes.
Yeah.
No reason to be blocking somebody 40 yards downfield when the play is dead where there's no play. So that's going to be another 15. So in turn, that comes out to almost a 50, 60-yard punt.
I hope your math is right. Did you bring your abacus?
Listen, I'm good with numbers.
All right. I'll take your word for it. Well, now it's just a matter of if Christ the King can catch some breaks on offense. They haven't been able to get it past the front four of St. Francis Prep, and the Terriers, sensing that this is a first-time quarterback that, is not the most elite passer out there and someone who has a ton of upside but not going to throw 40 or 50-yard passes. They've shown more blitz. They've gone after the running game, and it's paid in dividends for the Terriers.
It has, and again, when you talk about the line of scrimmage, again, both teams' defensive line has controlled the line. Somebody's going to have to make a big play, whether it's in the air or maybe even a trick play. Somebody's going to have to make a big play to open this game up a little bit.
And a delay of game on the Royals. Well, we see the growing pains on both teams as Milutinovic and his offense go back 5 yards. And
right now, I'm counting 10 guys on Christ the King. I could be wrong.
I think you're right. Milutinovic floats it up, and another pass incomplete. The intended receiver for Christ the King.
Pass intended for Watson, broken up by Randy Yu on the play.
There's Randy Yu. Knocks it aside from Watson. So there's Randy Yu again, making the most of his opportunity.
I'm still counting 10.
You got it. Yeah, that's 10.
They're playing with 10 guys right now.
Swept off to the left side.
And that could be why they're getting dominated. Somebody has to spot that.
Medina on the carry. Colangelo with the tackle. Brings up a third down.
Let's see that again. I want to count this on screen. If we could get a wide shot here of the Royals, or we'll take. So 1, 2, 3, 4. If we can just replay that back again, and on the freeze frame. But either way,
they're missing a receiver.
Play. Yeah,
they're missing a receiver or a back.
3rd and long, and the pass incomplete. That was C.J. Fernandez with the pass.
So they're playing with 10. See, now this is something.
Let's take a look. It's frozen. So from the top of the screen, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You got it.
So again, I do notice that Coach Coleman does not wear headphones. So I don't know if they even have spotters or assistant coaches that are, looking up in the press box where we are. But that was something that I noticed just now. Now, I wasn't really paying attention before. You wonder how many series they've had where they've only had 10 guys. Because you got to remember, there was an injury before. Was he a key member of the offense?
Right, and there are his assistants. Ben Krause is there, flanked by his assistants of Anthony Bonavita, Harris Jones, and Naz McFarland, the father of Jacob McFarland. But now Coleman chatting it over with his team on what'll be a 4th and long. And Milutinovic back out there to punt.
Now they have 11. And it looks like St. Francis Prep is almost playing like a punt safe.
Christian Colangelo back to receive and watches it go out of play, spotted at the 39-yard line.
Well, St. Francis Prep has had good field position all game. They've had many, many, many opportunities. I don't know what the outcome is going to be, but right now in this first half, they have to be kicking themselves a little bit that they haven't been able to capitalize on the field position, on the turnovers, on the mistakes, on the youth of Christ the King.
I think the issue with capitalizing on the youth of Christ the King is that they are also very young, too.
Yes, they are.
I'm with you.
Now they're coming back to their traditional wing tee set.
And you'd have to imagine that a touchdown for St. Francis Prep would feel like at least double or triple of the allotted 6 points that you get on a touchdown with the way that the offense has been going for Christ the King.
Yes, it would be very, very tough for Christ the King to come back.
Zulo keeps it himself, flings it over near side. Frankie Valvo, the fullback, pushing forward and nudged ahead of the 25-yard line where he'll be spotted. And a positive gain and a 15-yard pickup for the Terriers.
And there's your play action on first down. Good call right there by Coach Carroll. Now, interesting, St. Francis Prep, what they're doing is they're bringing their free safety up and they're putting them in the box. So there is nobody in the middle of the field. So if they break one right now, it's going to be a touchdown, because what happened was in the beginning of the game, they were getting outside. They had no edge. Now they took the safety and put him outside for the edge, so there's nobody in the middle of the field.
5 minutes gone by in the second quarter. Terriers holding on to a 3-0 lead thanks to the 3-run home run by Petros Hazard-Mihalis. And the flag is out, and a false start on the Terriers. Now the 7th penalty against St. Francis Prep.
And I'm sure that's eating away at Coach Carroll, and I'm sure that will be addressed at halftime. You know, we talked about for Christ the King, take a breath. Right now, St. Francis needs to do the same thing. Take a breath, relax, just gather yourself. This is where you need that senior leadership. I always said in the fall, and I coached 3 seasons, in the fall you need senior leadership. When it's play in the spring, you need the youth, because the seniors are done. They're committed, they're senioritis. A little different.
Good fake up ahead. Valvia. A pickup of 11 as Frankie Valvo, back-to-back positive yards.
That's that inside little guard trap. They're taking advantage of the over-aggressiveness right now of the Christ the King tackles. It's just a very short trap, and you kick him out, and there goes the fullback right up the middle.
2nd down and 4. Zulo the pitch. Jonathan Ngayan. He's got a first down inside the 10. The Pitbull barking against the front defensive line for Christ the King. And a new set of downs for St. Francis Prep.
Now you're working inside, outside, inside, outside. Now you're going to have to change. You're going to have to make an adjustment right now if you're Christ the King. Are you going to sell out with 9 guys? Because, again, you see, once you hit a gap, it's a big play.
Now, what do you think Carroll is telling Zulo?
Keep everybody poised. Take a deep breath. Relax. Let's keep pounding the ball.
Rich Carroll took his team up to Rock Hill, which has been a tradition and a pre-season tradition of building camaraderie and a great culture over at St. Francis Prep. And now it's go time. Inside the red zone, and Ngayan goes in motion. Zulo the pitch to Buchanan. Buchanan thinking about tossing it, lobs it to the end zone. Flag is down, pass is incomplete. And a golden opportunity for the Terriers to put 6 on the board.
They're going to call a personal foul on this. Again, that was the first time the corner did not run with the receiver. He came up hard. And that's a very good call right there as far as running a little jet sweep pass because he was wide open. I'm not sure about this call.
Might have made contact with Buchanan's helmet.
It's very possible. It's tough to see from up here. Even on the replay, it's tough to see. But, again, we're inside the 10-yard line right now, first down. This is where you got to almost cut your splits down. Don't let them penetrate and basically go right at them.
1st and goal from the 5.
Spreading them out right now, which is something a little bit different.
Zulo back to pass, flings it, end zone through the hands of Melendez. Incomplete.
That was the first time they went out with a trip set, and just running a quick slant, they had the leverage on him, just overthrew him. I would say that this is a 4-down territory. I don't think he's kicking a field goal right here.
I have to imagine. So Julian Melendez, someone who's got the biggest hands on the team and just couldn't make the catch, usually a sure-handed receiver. as it'll lead to 2nd and goal for St. Francis Prep. And Zulo charges back to the huddle.
This is, again, deep breath, relax. Let's not get a penalty here and shoot ourselves in the foot. We got 3 more downs to get 5 yards.
And a pair in the backfield as well. The pitch, and Guyan nudges forward. And a gain of a pair.
Nice job by Carlos Fernandez on that, coming up from the safety position.
Fernandez, one of those two sport athletes for Christ the King. He's a part of the baseball team as well, a catcher and outfielder, which is an interesting combo. Was a part of the team that lost to St. John's Prep in the city final this past spring.
It's nice, as Coach talks about, he comes from a great family. And that's what you want to hear as a coach.
And a quick timeout taken by Christ the King with 4:10 to go in the second, and we'll take it with them as well. St. Francis Prep knocking on the door. You're watching CH Jezebel football on the Varsity Media Sports Network. Feel like your game film is too stagnant and not providing you with the insight that your coaches had hoped for? Varsity Media offers game film to help your coaches develop a game plan to execute on game day. Our current clients love the Varsity Media difference, which includes more insightful camera angles and a speedy upload process. Start building your championship team today with award-winning individuals at Varsity Media. Did you just have the best athletic year of your life? And now you want to show it off to college coaches? Well, let Varsity Media help you. Varsity Media's college recruiting videos show off your unique skills to help you land a spot on the team of your dream school. We'll provide music, spot shadow effects, and a link to send to your next coach. Contact us today for more information. Don't rely on word of mouth or cold emails. Let Varsity Media help you take your game to the next level. St. Francis Prep a couple of yards away, 3rd and goal. Latter stages of the first half. Zulo back under center. Takes the handoff and a flag. And a false start. What causes a false start? Because at least from somebody who never played football, I think it's just pretty simple. You don't move until the quarterback says hut or set go. But I know it's not that simple.
They're using a lot of motion. And the rule is the motion guy on the snap has to be moving away from the line of scrimmage. He's turning up too soon, and he's probably not even in the play. It's youth, it's nerves. Again, it's just killing them right now, all these penalties, when they're 2 yards away.
Well, now 3rd and goal from the 7.
A lot of motion. I think you're going to get a timeout, yes. You see the confusion. And again, I go back to what we were talking about before, 7-on-7s. 7-on-7s are great, but both these teams are not passing teams.
Right.
So to me, and again, who am I? But these teams need to be just doing a lot of reps on offense. You're better off just doing stuff by yourselves than going to all these 7-on-7s, because here you got 2 running teams playing each other. This is what you need to be practicing against. These defensive fronts, these offensive, linemen, are they pulling? Are they tackle wrapping? Are they guard trapping you to death with the guards? The 7-on-7s, to me, are okay if you're playing all spread teams that are throwing the ball 20, 30, 40 times a game. When we used to go against Oceanside, which we do every year, we know they're throwing the ball 35, 40 times a game.
Well, here comes Zulo again. Third and goal from the 7, 4:08 to go in the quarter. Sees the blitz coming, rolling, tucking, and collapsing. Henry Lagahazir tracks him down again.
And he had a receiver wide open in the end zone. He just couldn't get his head up fast enough to see him. All he had to do was play darts, just throw the ball in the air. There was nobody in the end zone.
Then you see the pressure coming from the Royals. And yeah, Zullo just taken down, so this will bring up a 22-yard field goal for Petro Hatzimatsalis, and he's officially 2 for 2 on the season. So Hatzimatsalis makes it 6-0 after the field goal is good. And for two teams, ground and pound, that's exactly how the game has gone. And special teams playing a factor, and especially accounting for all the points in this contest. But it's got to be a good safety valve for St. Francis Prep. And with that said, let's take a look at the school as a whole. St. Francis Prep, and a closer look. The location in Fresh Meadows wasn't always in Fresh Meadows, was in Brooklyn, established in 1935, and I don't know if you could think of better alumni, at least locally and nationally. I mean, Vince Lombardi, Joe Torre, Marco Battaglia, an all-world football player as well. A lot of prominent alumni, and we can only fit 3 on the list. There's somebody who's watching at home who did not make the list, an honorable mention, is probably sipping on tea right now. He's got to be up till 3 in the morning, but that's Mr. Dylan Butler, who I believe he was allowed to hold the water for Battaglia. I'm not exactly sure what his responsibilities were.
I don't know if he was giving him water or holding his towel and wiping his sweat off, but to be honest, I don't know if Dylan could reach that high. You know, Dylan's a little vertically challenged there. I love Dylan. I love working with him, but Marco was, 6'6", 6'7", tight end for Rutgers.
Well, Dylan was responsible for a national championship at St. John's on the soccer field. At least that's what he says. As moving forward is Sean Rodriguez. And a positive gain for Christ the King, who starting to get late in the first half. The Royals have to put points on the board.
Yeah, this is one of those drives right now where you got to establish something. What you don't want is to go 3 and out, short punt, and let St. Francis Prep get one more score going into half. Right now, you're at a one-score game. You know, 1 score, extra point, you're actually in the lead. So, Coach Coleman, as bad as this has looked, I don't even think they have a first down right now, or maybe one. They're only down 1 score and an extra point away from taking the lead. So, you got to take the positive right now and just tell you guys, hey, listen, if we can get into halftime, even down 6-0, we're in this game.
And if you could read the body language on Coach Coleman, it looks as if he's telling them, take a breath, and I think he's probably mimicked those words as well. It'll be 1st and 10 from the 27 as Jordan Milutinovic back out in the gun for the Royals. They send Capella in motion, and a false start.
Well, that's actually going to be a delay of game.
Gotcha.
And you see they were a little coming out of the change of possession. You had guys on the wrong side. You had guys moving around. They're taking too much time. They got to get organized right now. The last series, they played the whole series with just 10 guys. Now you have guys going back and forth. It's growing pains. We talk about getting better. They got to get better now in this game because they have a shot.
Capella goes in motion again. They pitch it his way. And driven down. In the backfield, it's A.J. Brown, one of those 2 sophomores for the Terriers, making his presence felt.
Nice size, too. 6 foot, 231. You know, he's been on the varsity, this year, and, they're saying he's the backbone of the D-line. So someone missed a block or he shot a gap, but that's a nice-sized kid. I'm sure Baldwin would like to have him right now.
Yeah, grew up in Baldwin and probably closer here than at campus in Fresh Meadows, but either way, a nice little homecoming for him, and he'll play his home games here at Mitchell Field this year. That's the one interesting thing about Christ the King, St. Francis Prep, and even Holy Cross is finding a home as the ball is loose and on the ground, and I think the Royals recover it.
Yeah, I'm going to think that Prep will start calling their timeouts right now.
And it's a great strategy, right? You can try and pin the Royals deep. You know that Milutinovic is not exactly Jeff Fiegels out there, and, he'll have an opportunity or at least St. Francis Prep will have an opportunity. Well, we had the opportunity to take a look at St. Francis Prep. We'll take a look at Christ the King Regional High School, located on Metropolitan Avenue in Middle Village, established in 1962. A pretty good year for Queens and establishing things in 1962. Famous alumni, Jose Alvarado, Sue Bird, Terrell Hunt, who played for Syracuse, got a few workouts with the Giants and Jets in his pro career. I mean, the list can go on and on and on of all the famous alums at Christ the King, but I know Alvarado making Christ the King proud. Sue Bird, probably one of the best women's basketball players of all time, playing for, in my opinion, the greatest high school girls basketball program in the nation, led by Bob Mackey.
Yeah, you can't compete with that program right now. The only one that can compete possibly right now would be Lehigh.
Right.
And as the girls coach, I look at a program like that and say, wow, I want to have that. Give me one of those. I had one in Kayla Hilaire years ago who went to Seton Hall and took me to a state championship, and now she graduated from Stony Brook, and now she's playing overseas. But that's what you want. You want a Sue Bird to lead you.
And it goes on and on, right? Chamonix Coleslaw, Tina Charles, Milutinovic. Driven back, or check that, it's Fernandez. But have no fear. It's the big man, Kareem Vesip, out of Rosedale, the senior, with a huge TFL. Another timeout.
Absolutely call these timeouts right now, because if I'm Prep right now, I'm coming after this punt. I'm not playing a defense safe. If they're going to try to fake, they got to go, 25, 30, almost 30 yards. So I'm going to put a little pressure on them, just because every punt has either been shanked or almost blocked. And I believe that Coach Carroll can get this group right now to block a punt.
Well, and of course, there's so many things that need to go right on a punt. You've got to have the right snap. You got to get it off in time. And Milutinovic is not exactly going to be in the back of the end zone. He's going to be about 7 yards out. But before we have that punt, of course, we'd like to remind you to like and subscribe on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/varsity media, and on the social media handles, Instagram, Facebook, and X. We got to update that, Chris Sweeney. It should be X, the black logo. It's all going downhill. But either way, follow us on Varsity Media's Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram handles, and subscribe on YouTube. It's about 2 minutes to go before the start of the second half, or halftime here, and be sure to watch at halftime, which is sponsored by AC Ducey's, located in Forest Hills. Had a fantastic food review. For my money, the best buffalo chicken wrap in the entire state. Please, everyone at Christ the King St. Francis Prep, head on down to Forest Hills after the game. But either way, we've got some business to take care of here, as it's Fernandez again, and Fernandez with the pooch punt. It's blocked. Ball's in the end zone. Do the Terriers have it? They finally do. It's a touchdown. Special teams coming up big again.
Like I said before, this special teams is a third of the game. They were playing a safe defense. They were playing almost like a punt safe. And I said if they would come after it, and all they did was blitz their two middle linebackers right now.
That's Aiden Alvia who picked it up. Hillman was in the vicinity. And how about Alvia as he's going bazonkers on the sideline?
Should be excited. If the offense is not going to get it in, let the special teams get it in. I'm actually a little shocked that he's going to go for one here. I thought he might go for two, only being up 12, make it to 14.
Oh, he's got the red hot Petros Hatzibahalis.
He is 2 for 2.
And we mentioned last year was perfect on the extra points. And he drills it this time. 13-0 St. Francis Prep over Christ the King. You're watching CHSFL football presented by Mass Smith Federal Savings Bank on the Varsity Media Sports Network. You're watching Varsity Media, New York's high school sports network. Are you a local business looking for new and creative ways to promote your company? Varsity Media offers affordable rates that can get your message across to a demographic of 18 to 54 years of age. Our follower base across social media is over 50,000 strong, and our viewership numbers per game are in the thousands. Don't blow your advertising budget on old staples like TV and radio media. Reach out to Varsity Media to get the best bang for your buck.
Hey Mom and Dad, how about a personalized hype video of your athlete produced by Varsity Media? Cinematic coverage of game action, plus on-camera interviews by our crew set to music will make your son or daughter look like the next superstar. Perfect for social media fame and college recruiting. Don't wait, reach out today. Spots are limited this fall. 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
Aiden Alvia, the old soul of the St. Francis Prep defense, picking up the football in the end zone to give the Terriers a 13-0 lead and back to the drawing board for the Royals, but they might have something cooking. Sean Rodriguez across midfield, still on his feet, and he gets taken down at the 40-yard line. And boy, did Christ the King need a burst of energy after being deflated in their own end zone.
Yeah, gave him a little energy. Again, that's what youth does. You know, sometimes you get deflated, sometimes you get up. But you notice that was the first kickoff that didn't hit the turf. They caught it. And he caught it going forward on the run. So their blockers were able to just have to maintain a block for maybe a second or two instead of like 3 or 4 seconds. So, again, we talk about special teams. It's dominating this game. As much as the D-line is dominating the game on both sides, special teams has taken over this game. All 13 points are a result of special teams. And St. Francis Prep is winning that battle right now.
So James Coleman and his offense have 101 seconds to go before halftime. And prime field position, probably the best field position they've had since early on in the contest when they had St. Francis Prep pinned a little back.
And you got to be careful here that you don't turn the ball over trying to do something that you're not really accustomed to doing.
Milutinovic rolling out, charged by Vessa. Flag is down, and he gets upended by Yu and Vessa.
And there will be a holding penalty as well.
And the Terriers will decline it.
Flag on the play is declined. Second down.
Boy, John Santiago and his crew have been pretty busy Saturday night, Labor Day weekend.
And that's just all the pressure coming from the D-line right now for St. Francis Prep. I'm surprised Coach Coleman is actually speeding this up a little bit. They obviously need to regroup. He's coming out with an even set 2x2. They're having a lot of trouble blocking this D-line right now.
He's got a few timeouts as well. Fernandez airs it out, far side, and batted away. Good coverage on the far side by Aiden Alvia. And the intended receiver goes to Hubert Hendrickson.
One more of those, clock stops. You're going to have to punt again. And after what just happened, I'd be a little bit nervous.
Well, of course, for Christ the King, they could try and get the distance down in half and potentially go for it on fourth down. But you're right. They're probably going to have to think about it, and the flag is out, and it'll force their hand to false start against the Royals.
Yeah, and that's, again, this is not their game. They don't look like a team, no disrespect, but they just don't look like a team that tries to play fast. To play fast, you got to practice fast. They don't look like that's the type of team, because a type of team like that is going to come out with no huddle. They're going to have set plays. They're going to be able to call things from the line of scrimmage, and it's going to be fast. It doesn't seem like they're in any kind of rhythm right now, and it doesn't even seem like this is one of their real offensive sets. We call it a trip set, 3x1. Probably going to be some kind of draw up the middle because they don't really want to stop the clock right now.
Well, technically on the 49 as Rodriguez taken down. And that's another big-time tackle by Josiah Koviakoe.
The only thing that's going to save them right now is that Prep has no more timeouts.
Josiah playing in hometown of Uniondale, grew up just a few blocks away from here, and getting the huge tackle for a loss. And Christ the King will presumptively wind the clock down as much as they can, and before they punt it away.
I'm sure they'll take a timeout with 1 second left on the play clock.
And that's what we're all waiting on now. And that stops the clock with 14.8 seconds to go. And a punt and a stop would get us to halftime. Well, we knew that this was a Royals team that was very young and inexperienced. Same with St. Francis Prep. And the Terriers able to take advantage of a few miscues for Christ the King. Get some field goals in there as well. And they have what appears to be a comfortable 13-0 lead with the way that these two offenses have been functioning.
No lead is comfortable. I don't care how young a team is. 13-0 is not comfortable. It's football. It's high school football. And you are talking about 14, maybe 15, 16-year-olds. You're not talking about two teams that are seniors where you have that 18, 17-year-old who's got a lot of experience. So when you have young kids, you know, you got to try to take a positive out of it. Coach Coleman has to take a positive somehow out of this and say, hey, listen, we're 2 scores away. With our athletes, with our speed, we can get this back. And you never know what's going to happen on the other side if they do score. Now, to me, I'm not punting here. I'm going to throw the ball up for grabs and hope for a penalty.
Man in motion is Laga Hazir. You're right, Fernandez fires it. Sitting duck, it's caught and intercepted. St. Francis Prep, the interception to Nick Amadio as the Terriers take over with 4 seconds left in the half.
And that's a punt. That's a punt. It's no different than one of their punts that they've had where they've shanked a couple, got one blocked. I like this call. Just go up and throw it up and see if you can make a play. You know, it's a good thing it didn't go back for a touchdown, but, you know, with 4 seconds to go and St. Francis, the way they run their offense, yeah, I would put 4 or 5 guys back deep, 20, 25 yards. They might just take a knee on it. Listen, if I'm Prep, I'm happy going in 13-0. If I'm Coach Coleman right now, I'm going to regroup my kids. But I like that call. I wouldn't have punted there and given them an opportunity to block another one.
I'm with you, and it looks like Zullo will take the knee, and that does it. 1 half in the books. St. Francis Prep with a 13-0 lead over Christ the King at Mitchell Field on opening night in 2023. You're watching CHSFL football, presented by Maspeth Federal Savings Bank on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports. High school sports fans, are you following Varsity Media on our YouTube channel? For the best coverage of New York high school sports, make sure you head to youtube.com/varsity media. 3 easy steps. First, hit that like button, and then be sure to subscribe. And finally, tap that yellow bell to be notified of all of our upcoming sportscasts. Thank you for following Varsity Media on YouTube.
Maspeth Federal Savings is here through it all. The ins and outs, the ups and downs. Through the winters, the summers, and even the spring leaks. Know that Maspeth has your back. From luxury sheets to balance sheets to dancing under the stars, your mission is our mission. And when our community calls, we proudly step forward. So whether you need it now or planning for tomorrow, through all the twists and all the turns, you can always find us right here in your neighborhood.
Feel like your game film is too stagnant and not providing you with the insight that your coaches had hoped for? Varsity Media offers game film to help your coaches develop a game plan to execute on game day. Our current clients love the Varsity Media difference, which includes more insightful camera angles and a speedy upload process. Start building your championship team today with award-winning individuals at Varsity Media. AC Juicy's is a staple in Forest Hills. Established in 2014, this premier sports bar is home to the most storied dart team in New York State.
and has a wide selection of food and drink options. Perfect for a pregame drink or a postgame snack. So naturally, there was only one thing to do: dig in. Let's start with the wings. Perfect as an app or for watching the game at home, these wings are dipped just right in buffalo sauce that gives you a kick but won't set your mouth ablaze. Not a wing person? That's all right. How about a pretzel? This Bavarian beauty is perfect for sharing or picking at as the night goes along. Now time for the entrees. The Chicken Doocy flatbread will make you question if it's even worth eating other flatbreads. You have it all: crispy chicken, spinach, roasted red peppers, and goat cheese, all blanketed under fresh mozzarella. K. Bella. Now we have the AC Doocy burger. I'm a medium rare guy, and did they knock it out of the park or what? American cheese, onion, lettuce, tomatoes, and look at that pink center. No grease, absolutely scrumptious. And now for the finale, the piece de la resistance, the buffalo chicken wrap. You can hang this in the Louvre. Crispy fried chicken tossed in buffalo sauce, wrapped in a warm tortilla, filled with lettuce, tomatoes, cheddar jack cheese, and blue cheese dressing, served with Sidewinder fries. Visit AC Doocy's today, located at 10117 Metropolitan Avenue in Queens, New York. Tell them John Perez and the gang at Varsity Media sent you.
Hey, this is Solomon Thomas with the New York Jets, and you're watching Varsity Media.
Varsity Media is the most beloved high school sports network in New York, but don't take it from us.
I like how Varsity Media, I'm able to watch the game on YouTube after, and then commentators, all the highlights. It's cool to see myself almost on TV.
I like how Varsity Media is so professional.
What I love about Varsity Media is hearing Coach Hungerford announce games. Mr. Rooney's my favorite. I like the food reviews.
I love how my relatives from out of state can also watch the games.
Varsity Media, New York's high school sports network.
Did you know Varsity Media now offers action photography for all sporting events? Available for individuals or teams, we'll send dedicated photographers down to field level to capture your best moments. Our rates are affordable and our photos will leave you with lasting memories for a lifetime. Contact us today, mention this ad, and get $25 off your first order. Email ben@varsitymedia.net or call 516-403-2050.
When it comes to advertising, are you hitting the right audience? Why waste your time with television or a free print publication that's given out at a local deli? Varsity Media has your back. With a following of over 50,000 and a local demographic ranging between the ages of 18 and 54 years old, it's time to get that return on investment. Plus, here's the best part: your ad lives forever on our YouTube page. And with a large on-demand audience, it's a grand slam to advertise with Varsity Media.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports. High school sports fans, are you following Varsity Media on our YouTube channel? For the best coverage of New York high school sports, make sure you head to youtube.com/varsitymedia. 3 easy steps. First, hit that like button, and then be sure to subscribe. And finally, tap that yellow bell to be notified of all of our upcoming sportscasts. Thank you for following Varsity Media on YouTube.
Maspeth Federal Savings is here through it all. The ins and outs, the ups and downs. Through the winters, the summers, and even the spring leaks. Know that Maspeth has your back. From luxury sheets to balance sheets to dancing under the stars, your mission is our mission. And when our community calls, we proudly step forward. So whether you need it now or planning for tomorrow, through all the twists and all the turns, you can always find us right here in your neighborhood.
Feel like your game film is too stagnant and not providing you with the insight that your coaches had hoped for? Varsity Media offers game film to help your coaches develop a game plan to execute on game day. Our current clients love the Varsity Media difference, which includes more insightful camera angles and a speedy upload process. Start building your championship team today with award-winning individuals at Varsity Media. AC Juicy's is a staple in Forest Hills. Established in 2014, this premier sports bar is home to the most storied dart team in New York State and has a wide selection of food and drink options. Perfect for a pregame drink or a postgame snack. So naturally, there was only one thing to do: dig in. Let's start with the wings. Perfect as an app or for watching the game at home, these wings are dipped just right in buffalo sauce that gives you a kick but won't set your mouth ablaze. Not a wing person? That's alright. How about a pretzel? This Bavarian beauty is perfect for sharing or picking at as the night goes along. Now time for the entrees. The Chicken Juicy flatbread will make you question if it's even worth eating other flatbreads. You have it all: crispy chicken, spinach, roasted red peppers, and goat cheese, all blanketed under fresh mozzarella. K. Bella. Now we have the AC Juicy Burger. I'm a medium rare guy, and did they knock it out of the park or what? American cheese, onion, lettuce, tomatoes, and look at that pink center. No grease, absolutely scrumptious. And now for the finale, the piece de la resistance, the buffalo chicken wrap. You can hang this in the Louvre. Crispy fried chicken tossed in buffalo sauce, wrapped in a warm tortilla, filled with lettuce, tomatoes, cheddar jack cheese, and blue cheese dressing, served with Sidewinder fries. Visit AC Juicy's today, located at 10117 Metropolitan Avenue in Queens, New York. Tell them John Perez and the gang at Varsity Media sent you.
Hey, this is Solomon Thomas with the New York Jets, and you're watching Varsity Media.
Varsity Media is the most beloved high school sports network in New York, but don't take it from us.
I like how Varsity Media, I'm able to watch the game on YouTube after, and then commentators, all the highlights. It's cool to see myself almost on TV.
I like how Varsity Media is so professional.
What I love about Varsity Media is hearing Coach Hungerford announce games. Mr. Rooney's my favorite. I like the food reviews.
I love how my relatives from out of state can also watch the games.
Varsity Media, New York's high school sports network.
Did you know Varsity Media now offers action photography for all sporting events? Available for individuals or teams, we'll send dedicated photographers down to field level to capture your best moments. Our rates are affordable and our photos will leave you with lasting memories for a lifetime. Contact us today, mention this ad, and get $25 off your first order. Email ben@varsitymedia.net or call 516-403-2050.
When it comes to advertising, are you hitting the right audience? Why waste your time with television or a free print publication that's given out at a local deli? Varsity Media has your back. With a following of over 50,000 and a local demographic ranging between the ages of 18 and 54 years old, it's time to get that return on investment. Plus, here's the best part: your ad lives forever on our YouTube page. And with a large on-demand audience, it's a grand slam to advertise with Varsity Media. Back here at Mitchell Field, a 13-0 lead for St. Francis Prep against Christ the King. Opening night of 2023 here at Mitchell Field. Today's game, of course, is sponsored by Maspeth Federal Savings Bank. We treat you like family. He's Mike Spina. I'm John Perez. And Coach Spina, it's been a tough sledding first half for both of these teams, but St. Francis Prep with a 13-0 lead. I'll have you put your coach's hat on. We'll start with the team that's got the lead, St. Francis Prep. What did you like about them in the first half, and what do you believe that Coach Carroll told them in the halftime intermission?
Well, what I like is obvious. I love their special teams. You know, they won that battle. I mean, again, third of the game. What I didn't like was, well, the penalties. They had an opportunity to put 20 to 30 points on the board, and they shot themselves in the foot many, many, many times. So if I'm Coach Carroll, I'm going inside. Listen, guys, we're up 13-0, but we can't be happy with that. We should be up 25, 26, 27-0. So we have to eliminate the penalties. Stay basic. Stay basic. Pound, run our offense. Our defense is totally dominating this game. Let's not give them any opportunities to feel good about themselves.
Meanwhile, on the other side for Christ the King, there were a few bright spots, a few bumps along the way. Same question to you. For Christ the King, what area do they need to improve in? And if you're James Coleman, coaching in game number 1 of your career as the head coach, what was the message for the Royals?
I think the nerves were not just with the coaching staff, but with the kids. So what I'm telling them point blank is, listen, this game could easily be 27, 28-0 against us. So I'm going to take the positives. I'm going to say we had a couple goal line stands. You know, our defensive line played very well. If we can now fix the special team mistakes, then we have a chance to get it back into this game. And I'm telling them, guys, if you can just get a stop and a score and put the pressure on Prep, you don't know how they're going to react, because we haven't seen how their young kids have reacted to adversity. So that's my goal right now. Again, we talk about small goals. We talk about getting better. Well, my goal right now from Christ the King is to play a better half. Eliminate the mistakes, eliminate the penalties, fix our special teams, and you know, just go out there and play football. Have some fun. They seem very nervous. They seem very tight. You need these guys to go out there and just be sophomores and play free and easy. So that would be my message to my team.
You mentioned the 13 sophomores for the Royals, only 9 seniors, and only a few returning from a year ago. It's basically a brand new team for James Coleman in game 1 of year 1 of his head coaching career with the Royals. Christ the King lost the opening coin toss, and St. Francis Prep had the first possession, so it'll be the Royals' opportunity to start off the second half on a high note as the Royals will get set to go out on the field. And with that said, let's take a look at the rest of the varsity media slate for the Catholic League this year. Next week, Friday night, under the lights, Cy Donnelly Field. Cardinal Hayes off of their win in Philadelphia, 44-41. Richard Beelan and the boys are going out to Suffolk County against a St. Anthony's team that probably has a chip on their shoulders after today's thrubbing by Del Barton. Chaminade and Iona Prep is the other game, and then, of course, a ton of St. Anthony, Chaminade along the way. I can't wait for the Saturday night game at Monsignor Farrell. That's going to be a good one, and you can catch it all on youtube.com/varsitymedia.
Well, here's the key. Don't let the ball hit the ground. The one time they didn't, they got great field position.
Michael Dermody kicks it out of play. Flag is out. And as basically was a symbol in the first half, a flag to start the second half. And Christ the King will have good field position. Moving forward again, it's just a matter of if they can move those chains.
Now, my question is that a design kick out of bounds? It was a pooch kick. Are they afraid of the speed and the athleticism of Christ the King? So here's your first mistake right now. You're giving them the ball at the 40-yard line.
Well, and the way that the front line has been playing and the blitz and stacking the box for St. Francis Prep, if you do kick it out of bounds, it's not the worst thing in the world because you know that you're winning the battle of the trenches. So you're right. Yeah, maybe that did have something to play in there as C.J. Fernandez gets the start in the gun and whips it off to the far side where it's hauled in by Jaden Capella. And a gain of 5. And first completion of the second half of the Royals.
And I like that call. All right, change your quarterback. Throw a pass that's easy to complete. Just a quick catch, quick bubble, and let their athleticism, take over. So they're going to do these little quick passes that will force Prep to now get out of the box. They can't load the box with 9 guys.
Check that, a gain of 4, 2nd and 6. And a whistle before the snap. And a false start against Christ the King.
Penalties, penalties, penalties. Youth. This is what happens with youth. You need that senior leadership sometimes. You really do. And it's funny because I was calling the ball at the 40-yard line because that's where the ball went out of bounds.
Right.
It didn't go out of bounds at the 35. The rule is 35, but if the ball goes out at the 40, it should have been at the 40-yard line.
2nd and 11. The feed to Rodriguez. And Sean Rodriguez, pickup of 3.
Run by Rodriguez.
Rodriguez, a 3.5-year varsity starter for Christ the King, and someone who grew up as a running back, and anyone who can stick with anyone certainly has their hands full, but someone who's going to take a brunt of the offense this year, and James Coleman hoping to run through him as back-to-back gives to the senior, and another gain of a pair for Rodriguez.
And it was funny because they came out, quick catch, positive yards. What changes the drive? A false start. They're not a team that's built to get big plays. 3, 4, 5 yards maybe, but they're not built to get 8, 9, 10 yards. So when you get a 3rd down and 8, 3rd down and 9, St. Francis Prep, they're just pinning their ears back and coming.
Here's Fernandez. And the give on 4th down. And St. Francis Prep not fooled. A turnover on downs. So Coleman tried to sneak one past St. Francis Prep. The Terriers were waiting on it. And they take over on downs.
And that tells you a lot of what Coach Coleman is thinking right now, that he's going for it in their own territory. Only down 2 scores. But what to me is odd is you have a 4th down and 6, 4th and 7, and you just run a regular zone up the middle instead of throwing the ball and trying to get the ball outside. He did say that neither one of his quarterbacks have a strong arm, so he does know what he has. Listen, young kids, you know something? What do you have to lose? You punt the ball back, what is it going to do? Is it really gaining you that much yardage the way the punting game has been today in the special teams? Maybe you get a plus 10, a plus 15. That's one play. That's one first down. So I don't mind him going for it. The play selection, I would have liked to see him throw the ball outside and try to let his athletes make a play.
No, you're right, and we even saw that with Christ the King in the first half as Zullo going deep over the middle. It's Peyton Buchanan, touchdown, 41 yards out. Peyton Buchanan with his first touchdown of the year, and St. Francis Prep at 6 on the board on the TD to Peyton Buchanan.
And that's a great call by Coach Carroll. Again, I told you in the first half that they were playing without a safety. They were putting 9 guys in the box, playing zero coverage. There's your little waggle, which is a play action. And all they did was run a little post pattern right there, and there's nobody there. Great throw, great catch, great play call.
One of the fastest players, not just on the football team, but on the track and field team as well, as Hatzimitsalis did something he did not do a year ago, his first extra point miss. So we'll step aside. St. Francis Prep rolling. They're up 19-0 on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
Looking to grow your business on social media? Let Varsity Media help you. With over 50,000 followers across our platform, sponsor a segment during the broadcast and share it on social media the next day. It's the best of both worlds, as you'll get thousands of plays and your ad will live on the broadcast forever. Contact us today for sponsorship packages by calling 917-470-0864 or emailing varsitymediasponsors@gmail.com.
Did you know Varsity Media now offers action photography for all sporting events? Available for individuals or teams, we'll send dedicated photographers down to field level to capture your best moments. Our rates are affordable and our photos will leave you with lasting memories for a lifetime. Contact us today, mention this ad, and get $25 off your first order. Email ben@varsitymedia.net or call 516-403-2050.
St. Francis Prep with a commanding 19-0 lead over Christ the King early in the third quarter, thanks to the Tommy Zulo Peyton Buchanan connection, 41-yard strike. And now here comes Christ the King trying to get something going the other way, as that was Jaden Capella busting forward and gets past the 40-yard line.
Now, if you're Coach Coleman right now, you want to see the fight in your kids. You don't want them to quit. You don't want them to lay down and die. And remember, we talked about getting something positive, getting better. You might not be scoring 19, 20 points in this game, all right? But let's get some first downs. Let's move the ball. Let's get positive yardage. Let's get these kids feeling a little bit positive and good about themselves so that we could move forward. The last thing you want right now is them to lay down and them to lose 45, 46-0, because that defeats what he's trying to do right now. So they're going back to their first quarterback, Miltinovich.
And we'll see if Jordan, who helped the team to a JV championship against Stepanak, will get it going, as that handoff went to Sean Rodriguez. And with that said, it's time to get to know one of the captains of the defense for St. Francis Prep. It's Chris Felly, the linebacker. Favorite snack is Skittles. Favorite movie quote, how about this? My mama said football is the devil.
What a boy.
And, of course, a celebrity to have dinner with, Scarlett Johansson. I'm not going to dispute any of his answers. Your thoughts, Coach?
Good taste on both.
Here comes Christ the King. Rodriguez, a huge first down. Moving into Prep territory, a gain of 20.
Now, that's what you want to see. You want to see positive yardage, positive play, and you want to see what their body language is right now. You want to see what their energy is right now. And if you look at their sideline, see how they move down, see who's standing up, see who's got their helmet on.
Prep could have used Bobby Boucher on that last play as play action, batted away. Tristan Hillman, the defensive end, coming in with a swat. And Hillman, one of the tallest players on the line, using those mitts to bat the Milutinovich pass away.
Great size, 6'2", 249, came in through with his hands up. That's a nice play right there. That was a play that right there that they started the second half with. There was just a little hitch, possibly get 4 or 5 yards. They're trying to keep positive energy right now. So Hillman made some good play right there. Let's see what happens from here, though.
Someone who's growing into his spot and is really digesting a lot on the defensive side was the tight end a year ago. This is Justin Medina on second down and a gain of 3 after the takedown by Giuseppe Gregoranio, the senior out of Whitestone.
Yeah, nice tackle right there. Came up from his linebacker spot, filled the gap. Nice hawk roll tackle.
Christ the King trying to play faster as Milutinovich passes. Incomplete. C.J. Fernandez, the intended receiver. And 13 on 13 there. Randy Yu causing the disruption.
I'd still like to see if they have any kind of boot, something to get him out of the pocket. You know, at 5'7", 135 pounds, he's not tall. He's not big. He's not a pocket passer. He'd be better moving on the run. Give him a pass run option.
Fourth down, Milutinovic.
Got him.
Lets it go, has a man open. Incomplete. That was Gabe Reynoso. And an opportunity to get into the Terriers' red zone, but instead couldn't haul it in, and the Terriers take over on downs.
That's a nice ball. Little play action. Sets his feet nice. That's a ball that's got to be caught right in his hands. Looking like he might have tried to spin and run with it before he caught it. You got to secure that. That's a first down and goal at the 4-yard line. But again, let's talk about what just happened there. They gained positive yardage. They gained a first down. They had a crack to get the ball into the end zone. So you got to build on that. I know it doesn't seem like a lot. You're down 19-0. You're struggling offensively. But that's a drive that was a positive. All right, a mistake, okay, it happens. But let's build on that right now.
Terriers take over on the 36. Tommy Zullo back out there and pitches it off. Ball is loose. Christ the King recovers. And here come the Royals. Henry Lagahazier to the end zone. He's got reservations for 6 touchdown Royals.
Here you go. You take a little positive energy from an offense. Your defense all of a sudden steps up, creates a turnover. You look at the body language. Look at the sidelines.
Penalty flag in there afterwards.
I think that was just a beanbag because of the fumble.
Henry Lagazinier getting past Buchanan. And perhaps a spark for the Royals.
Adversity. Here it comes. How does Prep now react to the first real negative thing that's happened to them?
We'll see how the Royals line up. They should be going for 2. And Milutinovic in the backfield with Medina. Lobs it high, incomplete. But the Royals get on the board, a late flag afterwards.
Yeah, this might be a legal man downfield.
Intended receiver.
But nobody's moving off the field, so I'm kind of believing that this is something that's on Prep.
Yeah, pass interference. So they'll retry the PAT. Or the 2-point conversion.
This is a big play right here. You get 2 here and go down 19-8. It's a big difference.
Milutinovic flips it, the slant route. And it's caught. Well, that makes it 19-8, so the Royals gain another couple points. And an injured Royal at that afterwards.
It looks like after he caught the ball, he got bent back a little bit. Great catch.
Yeah, we'll take another look. The man down is Jaden Capella. And Milutinovic on that slant route. Let's see this one more time.
Ankle. Ooh, right ankle.
Yeah, that's a tough one. So, Christ the King, who is already a man down after the injury in the first half, now adding Jaden Capella to that, and we will step aside as well. 19-8 the score, 7:41 to go in the third on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
This is Solomon Thomas with the New York Jets, and you're watching Varsity Media.
Maspeth Federal Savings is here through it all. The ins and outs, the ups and downs. Through the winters, the summers, and even the spring leaks. Know that Maspeth has your back. From luxury sheets to balance sheets to dancing under the stars, your mission is our mission. And when our community calls, we proudly step forward. So whether you need it now or planning for tomorrow, through all the twists and all the turns, you can always find us right here in your neighborhood.
When it comes to advertising, are you hitting the right audience? Why waste your time with television or a free print publication that's given out at a local deli? Varsity Media has your back. With a following of over 50,000 and a local demographic ranging between the ages of 18 and 54 years old, it's time to get that return on investment. Plus, here's the best part. Your ad lives forever on our YouTube page. And with a large on-demand audience, it's a grand slam to advertise with Varsity Media.
Maspeth Federal Savings is here through it all. The ins and outs, the ups and downs. Through the winters, the summers, and even the spring of leaks. Know that Maspeth has your back. From luxury sheets to balance sheets to dancing under the stars, your mission is our mission. And when our community calls, we proudly step forward. So whether you need it now or planning for tomorrow, through all the twists and all the turns, you can always find us right here in your neighborhood.
Did you just have the best athletic year of your life? And now you want to show it off to college coaches? Well, let Varsity Media help you. Varsity Media's college recruiting videos show off your unique skills to help you land a spot on the team of your dream school. We'll provide music, spot shadow effects, and a link to send to your next coach. Contact us today for more information. Don't rely on word of mouth or cold emails. Let Varsity Media help you take your game to the next level. Back here at Mitchell Field, St. Francis Prep with a 19-8 lead over Christ the King. Jaden Capella hauling in the two-point conversion, but appeared to hurt his ankle in the process, taken off the field. Second injury to the Royals. Johan Kaye earlier on in the first half, also taken off. We hope that both young men are okay. But back to square one for Christ the King, now down 11. And you know what, Mike? If Christ the King gets a stop, gets into the end zone, a brand new ball game.
Absolutely. Like I said before, you wonder how St. Francis Prep is going to deal with adversity. They haven't had any. You know, they've shot themselves in the foot and didn't score when they could have, and they had a chance to put this game away. But that's real adversity, a defensive touchdown.
Short kick and the dive. And that was Vincent Costanza. Pounced on top of it like a cat.
By Vincent Costanza, Terriers take over.
Well, if that's the type of kick it was supposed to be, okay. If that was what they have, well, there's a reason why they didn't go for an extra point to win for two. Interesting part of this game right now, it should be 8-6.
Yeah.
Special teams. Think about it. Defensive block punt, touchdown, 2 field goals off of turnovers. Turnover here. Defensive touchdown. Not a lot of offense.
Well, one of the last times we saw Tommy Zullo, he was airing it out for a 41-yard touchdown pass to Peyton Buchanan. And you'd have to imagine that just oozes confidence for Zullo to connect with Buchanan as St. Francis Prep. They're a primarily running team first, but eventually you're going to have to throw it against some of the best teams in the AA. And here's Buchanan on first down. A cross in Royals territory, picks up the first down and then some, a gain of 15.
Yeah, they went back to their bread and butter. They went back to their outside buck sweep. They did a great job sealing the edge. Here it comes right here. Little reverse pivot, little deception. That's a good one. It's a nice tackle right there by number 11, Hubert Hendrickson. I didn't like the way he got up and almost kind of looked at him. You know, you're down 19-8. Play football. You don't need to talk. Play football.
Jonathan Engen. And Jonathan Engayan back towards the line of scrimmage. Flag is out once more.
Again, Amani Cespedes running the play down from his defensive end / outside linebacker position.
Thought Cespedes had a pretty good first half. Was all over the place, certainly made his presence felt in the first quarter. And there he is wearing number 44 in white. Someone who has a ton of upside and is just only a junior for the Royals.
No, he's a player. I mean, I like their linebackers. Thomas, Cespedes, Pena. I like all three of them. They hit. They tackle well. You know, this is not an easy offense to defend because you don't see it often. You know, back in the 80s, everybody ran wing T. Now, 90% of the teams run spread. So there is a lot of misdirection. You got to really read your keys.
Zulo on play action. Swarmed in the backfield. That was Henry Lagahazier, responsible for the lone Royals touchdown, but I think he might get a penalty at that and a face mask check it.
Flag will give the Terriers the first down.
The Royals.
Yeah, that's just unfortunate because I could see what he was trying to do. He was trying to tackle and strip at the same time, and as he was swiping with his right hand and grabbing with his left, you can see that he grabs the mask. Just unfortunate because you really had St. Francis Prep reeling, going backwards, and the momentum of this game really has changed. It's coming hard. Left hand right there. He swipes with the right, but the left hand does get the face mask. Again, we try to teach kids, especially like I own a football camp, everything that we teach is hawk roll, low, because bad things happen when you tackle high. Head injuries, shoulder injuries, you know, plays like that where you're grabbing the mask, hitting the kid in the head by accident. We teach low tackling, hawk roll tackling. That's how you got to tackle these days. They did the study. The rugby players don't get hurt. They don't even wear equipment. Why? Because they tackle low.
Zulo on the play action. Down the field again towards Buchanan. Incomplete. Good coverage by Jonathan DeJesus.
Yeah, real good coverage. They went back to that same type of play, a little play action, and running down the middle of the field, just running a seam pattern. This time what, Christ the King did is they had a free safety. Again, they were bringing everybody up in the box before with no free safety. This time they had a free safety. So your quarterback's kind of got to read the safety on that, so maybe he checks down to something else. But, he gave his kid a chance to make a play.
Well, we mentioned one of the benefits for Christ the King is they've got two baseball players and two outfielders on their team. DeJesus, the other outfielder, along with Fernandez. Guyan. And nowhere to go as the handoff goes to the fullback in Valvo.
Yeah, that was bottled up by the whole defensive line. It actually started with number 63 on that, Marcus Jean Baptiste, another one of those 13 sophomores. He didn't bring him down, but he stopped him, and then he held him up just enough that the linebackers can clean it up.
And so now Zulo back to the huddle. 3rd and long, and just over 5 minutes to play in the third quarter. As the Terriers look for a response after the Christ the King defensive touchdown. Zulo swings it incomplete towards Melendez.
Lagazier read that screen really, really nice. He sat. He didn't chase the dash, what we call a dash, which is a sprint out. He stayed backside on the screen, read it nice. Good thing that ball was thrown in the turf. Otherwise, that could have been a pick six.
I think if we're going to give out defensive stars for Christ the King, you could go by the halves, right? Cespedes in the first half, and now Henry Lagahazier in the second half.
So far, I agree with that 100%. Playing very well. So there's been some good adjustments. And like I said, you want to get better? Christ the King could have died. 19-0 first play, offensive play, touchdown. They easily could have packed it in.
Here's a good punt. Let's see if it gets into the end zone. It does. Good effort, though, on the other end by George Proponis, the senior. But just a few steps too late after the good effort. And the Royals will take over at their own 20.
Very different ball game right now. This is an interesting drive because if all of a sudden now Christ the King goes down, gets a little bit more momentum, scores, St. Francis Prep is on their heels. What are they thinking? What's their sideline? How are they going to react? They dominated the first half. They hit them with a big play to start the second half. Did they relax? Did they say game, set, match? Did they say game is over? Because right now they seem like the team that's playing on their heels where Christ the King has all the energy. If you look at the sidelines, their energy right now is better than Prep's.
And they'll be led by Jacob McFarland had the opportunity to get to know him. And we'll do that after the play. Is Christ the King back out there on offense again. Jordan Milutinovic fires it over the middle. Pass is complete. And a nice catch by Laga Hazir. Well, we mentioned McFarland, and let's take a look at Mr. McFarland. Says his pregame ritual doesn't have one, just someone who shows up and balls. I Get Live by Sleepy Hollow, his favorite song. I mean, call me Abe Simpson. I've got no idea who that is. Which actor would play him in a biopic? Rick Ross, the boss. So, why not?
Why not?
Milutinovic will call his own number and taking down Julian Melendez with a big TFL.
Yeah, I think he should have handed that one off. Looked like he was a little bit confused if he should hand it off, if he should keep it. The mesh wasn't good.
So a loss of 7 now sets up 3rd and 9. Under 4 minutes to play in the third. Run up the middle. Now busting wide, Justin Medina. He's got a first down. Here comes Medina into Terriers territory. And a flag all the way in the backfield, and a pair of them at that.
Well, the one flag is on the sideline. It's either going to be a hold or something with the sideline. I like the call.
See if that hold does come in. Perhaps Laga Hazir, number 4 in white.
I didn't see any hold, so, and they're marching them back. That's why I'm thinking it's something with the sideline.
It's got to be so debilitating. You finally catch a seam, pick up a huge plethora of yards, and everybody mosey on back.
That's a backbreaker because, again, you've turned this game into your favor. And what's good is that they haven't quit. You have 2 kids out. You have all these young kids. You easily could have said, all right, something, let's just get through this game. Let's keep everybody healthy. Let's start getting ready for next week. They're not. They're making plays right now, tripping.
Trying to do my best to read the lips of John Santiago.
He pointed to his foot, but
I thought he said tripping.
the way he's talking to the coaching staff right now, I got to believe it was on the sideline, that it wasn't a player. Because otherwise, you call it trip, it would be from the spot where the flag was. So I'm thinking that was a sideline violation.
Yeah.
That it was one of the coaches that tripped somebody. It could have been the side judge. Here. Holding.
That's sportsmanlike. Christ the King.
Oh, so they got double penalized.
Yeah.
Because one was a dead ball foul, so they took the hold and then the unsportsman. So that's a 30-yarder or 25-yarder.
Basically all the yards that Medina got now in reverse.
Yes. And that could just turn the favor, the momentum right back to St. Francis Prep.
Third and long.
Same play. But when it's third and long, guess what? You're not going to get that same result.
Well, and now the Royals will have to punt. And good job there by the Prep defense. And Tristan Hillman and Christian Colangelo.
If you look at Hillman, 6'2", 249, he just looks like a player.
Yeah. He was the number one tight end last year, someone who grew up playing football at the Rosedale Jets, and his brother Gavin as well.
I'm sure he played against a lot of the Massapequa Mustangs where I grew up.
Always one of the great competitive leagues, right? Them, Garden City, Rockville Center. And a timeout taken by the Royals, and we'll take it with them. 19-8 the score, 2:16 to go. You're watching CHSFL football on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
Hey sports fans, did you know Varsity Media live stream broadcasts get viewed by college coaches nationwide? Through our announcers' storytelling and insight on your athletes, we can help your players get an edge on college recruiting. Find out how by reaching out to Varsity Media today, 516-403-2050, or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
When it comes to advertising, are you hitting the right audience? Why waste your time with television or a free print publication that's given out at a local deli? Varsity Media has your back. With a following of over 50,000 and a local demographic ranging between the ages of 18 and 54 years old, it's time to get that return on investment. Plus, here's the best part. Your ad lives forever on our YouTube page. And with a large on-demand audience, it's a grand slam to advertise with Varsity Media. Another opportunity for Christ the King on 4th and 14. Jordan Milutinovich punts it away. Peyton Buchanan, nowhere to go. Hubert Hendrickson with the takedown. And a few extra words at that for Buchanan. And optimal field position for St. Francis Prep, who will start it off at the 32-yard line.
Well, if you want to take the momentum back, here it is right here. Here's your opportunity to put this game away. They've had plenty of opportunities. You know, Christ the King got themselves back in the game, got the stop. Big play, hold. Don't know who the unsportsmanlike was on. It shouldn't have happened. They just turned the tables back to Prep.
Zullo the give to Valvo. And Frankie Valvo moving up ahead in a gain of 4 for Valvo.
I would keep riding him right now until they can stop him. The old Beth Page, 4 yards at a clip, 4 yards at a clip. 4 times 3 is 12. You move the chains.
Yeah.
It also kills the clock. So anything 3.5, 4 yards, that's positive. And that's got to be the goal of this offense right now, the way they're running. Hey, we're getting 3 yards, 3 yards, 3 yards. We're going to move the chains every 4 plays. Plus, you're going to keep this clock rolling. You're up 2 scores.
.80 seconds to go in the quarter. Valvo again on second down. Nowhere to go. That was Jacob McFarland in on the tackle. Additional contact by John Fernandez and Caleb Eaton.
All right, so you've went inside twice. Okay, they're stacking the middle. What do you think they're going to do here? Either play action or try to get to the outside. They're not going inside right now. So if I'm Christ the King right now defensively, I'm going to send pressure from the outside.
You have to imagine this is probably the last play of the quarter for St. Francis Prep. Looking to go for the jugular against their rivals.
There's the boot.
Zullo flings it. Cordarolo, incomplete. Sebastian Cordarolo, had he made that catch, could have backpedaled into the end zone.
That's a good ball. That's not a bad pass at all. That's a good ball. I would like to see the receiver, if he's not catching it, dive, lay out.
5th in the league in receptions a year ago, and usually so sure-handed, and unfortunately just couldn't make the catch on that last ball. And now 4th down for the Terriers.
Well, Coach Carroll, there's no reason to punt the ball here because the most you're going to gain is 10 yards if you kick the ball in the end zone. So, again, I'm looking at 2 things. I'm looking at play action again, or I'm looking at something outside. This is, wing T teams, they love running inside counters, counter crisscrosses, double reverses.
Oh, Zulo dumps it into the flat. It's caught. And this is Ariel Marin gaining the first down inside the 15-yard line. A pickup of 14. And St. Francis Prep moving the chains. As that should do it for the third quarter.
Nice little play action there. That's just a waggle pass where it's misdirection. It's a boot, which is kind of what I'm thinking that Christ the King should do with their quarterback is get him going outside the pocket. And when you're in a man coverage, sometimes you're going to lose your man because you're looking in the backfield. Good play call, great execution. Starting the fourth quarter, you got all the momentum in the world.
And with that said, let's take a look at the upcoming schedule for St. Francis Prep and their entire season. So they'll take on Bishop Timon on the road and then at Kellenberg. So back-to-back road games for the Terriers before coming home against Fordham Prep. And then Zavarian, Cardinal Spellman. That was a big win for St. Francis Prep last year, 41-0 victory over Cardinal Spellman. And then taking on St. Peter's, Holy Cross, and Holy Trinity to end the season.
Nice, tough, competitive schedule. You want to get the first win under your belt and then move forward. So they got a quarter to do it. Again, they want to now eliminate the mistakes, take that deep breath, and try to put this in the end zone.
Meanwhile, the upcoming schedule for the Royals this season moving down to the AA after today. They'll head to Staten Island for a couple of weeks. They get C and Moore Catholic. And then against Kellenberg and the athletic department of former head coach Tyree Allison, Mount St. Anthony's, Fordham Prep, and Cardinal Hayes. Tommy Zulo, first play of the fourth quarter on the slant. Sebastian Cordarolo makes the catch, and that sets up first and goal. What a grab by Cordarolo. Had an opportunity before, couldn't make the grab, and now hauls in his first catch of the second half.
Yeah, he went up and got this ball at its highest point, and he used his hands. Just look at the way he shielded the defender with his body. That's a great pass and a great catch.
CJ Fernandez on the coverage.
Got the crowd going, too, down below us. You can hear them hooting and hollering right now, so.
Well, if there's any time for the Royals to get a stop, it's now. As St. Francis Prep looking for the back-breaking touchdown. From 2 yards out, Zulo on the bootleg. Holding, waltzing into the end zone. Touchdown, Tommy Zulo.
Great decision by Zulo, not throwing this, making one cut, seeing a seam, and putting it into the end zone. That's a nice job by this quarterback.
First year varsity starter Tommy Zulo using his legs, evading a few tacklers. And how about the job of the line for St. Francis Prep?
Great job sealing the outside. They're doing a really nice job now getting into the defensive line for Christ the King. They're starting to slowly take this game over. Looks like they're going to go for 2 here.
Well, you go for 2, you're up 19.
Not sure what the delay is right now.
Curious if there was a unsportsmanlike penalty afterwards on St. Francis Prep.
I'm going to say that's on Zulo.
Yeah,
because he did turn back. He did turn.
Right.
I don't know what he said, but his head definitely turned back to whoever was trying to make the tackle. Here you go.
I always think of Bull Durham, right? And maybe he said the magic words.
Right here, he scores.
Well, watch what he says to...
He looks down.
Yeah.
He's still looking down. Still looking. Yeah, that's... No need for that. You just made a great touchdown run. You probably put this game away. Again, young mistake. Something that I'm sure Coach Carroll will talk to him privately about. Not going to berate him in front of his teammates, but I'm sure he's going to talk to him about it.
I don't think it would kill the referee to hold on to the flag either. They'll have other opportunities. Zulo towards the end zone, flips it, and it's caught. The 2-point conversion is good. Jonathan Nguyen, the Belrose Jr.
A 19 or 18-yard 2-point conversion. Now, I'll give Zulo credit. You know, he knows he made a mistake. Watch how he stays in the pocket, doesn't get happy feet. That's a great catch.
How about the pit bull going up against the big dogs of the Christ the King secondary?
Yeah, he went up in between two guys and brought it down. It's a nice play right there.
Gotta love the excitement. And we're not worthy, says Randy Yu.
Lesson could have been learned real quick.
So with that said, this is opening night of the Catholic League, and this is what we have for the NYCHSFL this year. Cardinal Hayes and St. Anthony's Friday night at Cy Donnelly Field. Iona Prep takes on Chaminade on Saturday afternoon. That game in Mineola. And then St. Joseph's out of New Jersey takes on St. Anthony's for the second time in 3 weeks that the Friars play a Garden State opponent. Paramus Catholic against Chaminade, Moore Catholic and Farrell, Iona Prep, and St. Anthony's. Well, the issue with the Friars last year was that they never had home games. Now they get 5, and they'll be on the Varsity Media Sports Network, and we'll see them on the road this year as well against Chaminade and Holy Trinity.
Some nice rivalries there, Chaminade, St. Anthony's. Some athletes, some size.
I'm kind of curious from the public side of things, how much attention do you guys pay to the Catholic League and vice versa? I'm sure Catholic League coaches are watching, probably public games as well.
0.
All right.
The truth? 0.
I'll have to ask. Pena having some difficulty and flops on top of it at the 20-yard line.
Ball is fielded by number 30.
A lot of people want to try to compare the two leagues. I mean, you really can't compare. I mean, you get the top athletes that from every town and from all over that go to the Catholic schools. I'm not going to sit there and say we're better or they're better. I mean, it's different. I mean, it's just, we're a big school district, Massapequa, so we have a lot of kids, and we lose a lot of kids to the Catholic schools, and we're still competitive. And, you can only coach what walks through your door. That's our philosophy. Mm-hmm. And, something, they have their league, we have our league. Guess what? Good for them, for the teams that win the states and win their, playing in Jersey and stuff like that. There's no jealousy. It's, like I said, it's nice to have those type of athletes that are coming, but I also love what we have at Massapequa and what I had at Floral Park for years. What walks in my door is what I coach. And I love every minute of it.
And we'll have Massapequa Farmingdale this year as well, October 21st. That's going to be a fun one. There's Jordan Milutinovich. The give, this is Angel Pena. And you can start to see Coleman and the rest of the coaching staff starting to give different looks to different players. This is a team that only has about 35 to 40 players on its roster, so it's all hands on deck. And for such a young team, hey, nobody has secured one exact spot, probably with the exception of the linemen, and even that for Christ the King. And, a little bit learning on the fly, and that's for their spark plug, Angel Pena.
Yeah, and you got guys playing both ways. You have 2 kids get hurt, so you're teaching on the fly.
Milutinovich over the middle. Incomplete. The intended target was Fernandez.
Who was the backup quarterback, correct?
Yeah. We've seen those two connect, Milutinovich to Fernandez. And a few completions. Flag is down again.
A lot of those tonight.
Yeah.
And that's what happens when you have very young, inexperienced teams playing each other, especially early in the year. Some of the mistakes are very correctable. Called a legal man downfield. So on a play action, you're allowed 2 yards over the line of scrimmage. So one of the linemen actually just probably kept drive blocking, probably got about 6 or 7 yards downfield, and it's a penalty. Good. I like the fact that Coach Carroll declined it. So it should be third down.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know why they haven't flipped it. Milutinovic off towards that far side and back to the line of scrimmage.
Tackled on the play, brings up a third down.
It should be fourth down.
I agree, and they're going to correct that on the sideline.
It looks like they're starting. Well, the stick is still saying third.
Well, the referees are telling them to switch to 4.
Which they just switched now.
And Coleman getting an explanation from Engin Suvak, who's recapping the 4 plays. And Milutinovic on 4th and 5. Sweep near side, Medina. Finds a little bit of a seam.
Tackled by Nicholas Franchese on the play.
And a turnover on down, Nick Franchese
Brings up fourth down.
with the tackle.
Well, at this point right now, St. Francis Prep getting the ball at the 25-yard line. They should be putting the ball in the end zone here. You might start to see some groups, some seconds going in, some thirds going in for both teams. Although Christ the King doesn't have many seconds right now.
No, and if you look at the St. Francis Prep roster, too, and as it pertains to the rest of the season, they don't exactly have the numbers either. And we see a few players that are not dressed tonight as well or have taken off the pads. So it'll be interesting to see their depth that they have throughout the year. John and Guyan. Back to the line. Hubert Hendrickson with the takedown.
Now, just to go along with what we were talking about that you brought up, if you look at the sideline over here, and I don't know if we can put the camera on it, but you have 8 or 9 guys on the bench right now for St. Francis Prep. These are the guys that are playing defense. These are the skill kids. So what they do is they have enough guys that are playing 2 ways that they can come in between possessions and talk to their position coaches. So you will watch on 3rd, 4th down, that whole group will stand up and get ready to jump on the field. Christ the King doesn't have that luxury.
Right.
So you're going to wear down no matter what, especially being young.
Flag on the play.
And this is just an unexcusable mistake. Lining up off sides, not jumping off sides, but lining up off sides. So again, we talk about getting better. We talk about little things. You could start to see how right now their body language is starting to say, oh, let's just get this over with. You know, I'm lining up off sides. I'm not showing that intensity. It's hard. They're young kids. You know, most of these kids would be starting on JV and probably having a lot of success. Now you're getting thrown into a varsity league, and the Catholic League is tough. We know that.
Zullo gets the snap, and Alva charges ahead, has a first down inside the 20. And spotted at the 12-yard line, a pickup of 8.
Yeah, you're starting to see a lot of hands on the hips. You're starting to see guys right now getting up very slow off the ground. You're starting to see some D linemen subbing in. St. Francis Prep right now has taken over this game. Be curious to see how they finish it.
Well, time on their side with the lead. Clock rolling down. Thrown to the near side, and Guyan couldn't hold it in. And one more flag at that. And a hold on the Terriers.
I'm actually a little shocked that Coach Carroll's throwing the ball here. At this point, you have the game in hand. You want this clock to move. You don't want the incomplete. You don't want the stoppage. They're not going to stop you right now. You could see the body language. You could see the hands on the hips. You could see the defense right now. They're tired. They're worn down. You want this clock to just keep moving.
Yeah. So
Another flag. It's going to be, it looks like another sideline.
I think somebody is saying something to the officials. Is that's what it is, or? Engin Suvak is the line judge closest to the Royals bench. And so you're right, this could be something against the Christ the King sideline, and I'm not sure if a coach is going to get ejected or an official warning. Or
Coach Coleman is shaking the officials' hands. I don't know what that was about.
Yeah, that's odd.
They called an offsides. Did Coach Coleman get kicked out?
He might have gotten kicked out. Back towards midfield.
He's
And
walking
now-
off the field.
Yeah. So in his first game as head coach, it appears that James Coleman is either been thrown. I mean, if you're ejected, you have to leave the premises, right? Is that usually how it goes? Or I'm not sure if a parent said something, and now he being the link there.
They have changed certain rules, like if an assistant coach gets kicked out, the head coach gets kicked out. At this point right now, you want to get this game moving. You want to get this game over. You want to keep the kids positive. You don't want this to turn into an ugly situation.
Well, just an odd ending here for Christ the King. And the clock restarting. And Jonathan Nguyen with the handoff.
Another tackle for Cespedes. So he's still playing hard. That's what you want to see. You, like I said, it's hard. You got all these young kids. You want them to get something positive out of this. Like right now, their small goal should be to keep them out of the end zone. And then you take that as a positive moving forward.
So Zulo back out on the field. Christ the King only won one game a year ago. It was a 44-8 victory over St. Francis Prep, and now the Terriers exercising the demons. Game in which they've had not total, but a majority of control. And the handoff up the middle again. And that was Frankie Valvo.
And now you see that they're taking their time. They're listening to the official. They're listening to the time, how much time's left. They're snapping the ball with 2 or 3 seconds left. So they know what's at stake. They know right now the game's over.
And so as you look around in the AA, it's going to be interesting to see how St. Francis Prep deals in the AA1. You've got some pretty talented teams. You've got, obviously, Xavier, the defending champs, who run, right, the wishbone, the wing T, their own role as well. As Zulo goes back of the end zone, Hendrickson is there and bats it away, incomplete.
Good defensive play. Not sure if I love the call.
It looks like we might have a flag against the Royals in the backfield.
Personal foul. Nope. Yeah, personal foul.
Yeah, so that'll move St. Francis Prep up.
Fans are happy right now. Number 34 going into the game.
There's Julian Morales, the junior.
Got a nice cheering section below us.
Morales, 5'6", 208 from Far Rockaway.
Playing fullback, so.
Well, he could get the ball.
Little guard trap. There it is. Oh.
But a bad snap and a false start. I'm sure Rich Carroll and the coaching staff is saying, can we just please go without a penalty?
For 2 plays in a row?
Yeah.
We have to have over 20 penalties this game.
I think we got to have over 30.
You might be right. I would have set the over and under for 27.
So under 4 minutes to play, Morales in the backfield. And another penalty again. And another false start.
Again, a little curious on the call. I know they want to put one in. Maybe that last year's score is sitting in, eating at him a little bit. But at this point, you want this game to just get over. You don't want anybody getting hurt. You got a couple guys that you put into the game.
Well, and they've had the running clock for a few minutes now, and it will continue to run. I guess it just stops during the penalties.
Yeah.
Anyway, here's Nguyen. End zone touchdown. The Pitbull, Jonathan Nguyen, another TD. What a start to his season. And St. Francis Prep is rolling. They're up 33-8.
Yeah, this is what you didn't want to see if you were Christ the King, because they were fighting. They were playing hard, and you can just see at this point those would have been tackles earlier in the game.
And so now Petros has a Mihalis to kick the extra point. Peyton Buchanan on the hold. Good snap, kick, end over end. And he redeems himself after missing the extra point last time out there. It's 34-8 St. Francis Prep, and we'll take a break. 3:17 to go in the fourth quarter on the Varsity Media Sports Network. You're watching Varsity Media, New York's premier high school sports network.
Hey sports fans, did you know Varsity Media live stream broadcasts get viewed by college coaches nationwide? Through our announcers' storytelling and insight on your athletes, we can help your players get an edge on college recruiting. Find out how by reaching out to Varsity Media today, 516-403-2050, or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
Hey Mom and Dad, how about a personalized hype video of your athlete produced by Varsity Media? Cinematic coverage of game action, plus on-camera interviews by our crew set to music will make your son or daughter look like the next superstar. Perfect for social media fame and college recruiting. Don't wait, reach out today. Spots are limited this fall. 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
Back here at Mitchell Field, it's starting to be festive for St. Francis Prep. Just over 3 minutes to go in the fourth quarter in what should be a wire-to-wire victory for the Terriers. Team that only won 3 games a year ago, looking to take the next step in the AA1 division of the CHSFL. As Christ the King will start it off at their 25-yard line. And it was Amani Cespedes downing it for the Royals. Hold on, we got you. You got to put the mic down. There we go.
There we go.
Right.
There we go.
Play to the whistle.
Play to the whistle. At this point now, you just want to see everybody get out of here healthy. I don't know what the coaches for Christ the King are going to do, but you would think that they would just run the ball a few times, get some positives. You're not going to see any timeouts. Maybe you start to see a couple seconds.
Well, a team that's very young, a first-year head coach, along with 13 sophomores, and only 9 returners from a year ago.
And now you're going to have to go into next week. If you get thrown out of a game, you have to sit out again.
Yeah.
I'm assuming their rules are the same as what we have in Nassau County. If you get thrown out of a game, you have to sit a game.
There's Angel Pena. And Julian Morales with the takedown.
You can tell by his fan club underneath us.
How about this? The Far Rockaway native and the Rec Specs. How about that? Knocking out the big Angel Pena.
It's a great feeling for a kid who might not get a lot of playing time to have people rooting for him, probably one of their scout players, and get on the field, make a tackle. Great feeling.
Well, you know what, Coach? I mean, even if he plays well now in a game that is obviously not as close, I'm sure he wants to make the coaches think about it, too, and try to earn himself some more playing time.
100%. We always look for somebody that wants to sit there and get on the field. Make yourself better. Every single play, make yourself better. Make us as a coaching staff, make us have to put you on the field. Don't make our job easy.
And another down Royal. This is Kamarian Thomas.
This is what you don't want to see. In a game that's over, when both teams are just running the ball out to someone to get hurt.
So Kamarian Thomas just needing a couple of moments, and not sure if it's a cramp or what it is, but stretched out on that left leg. Under 2 minutes to go after today. Christ the King, back-to-back games on the road on Staten Island. St. Joseph's by the Sea and Moore Catholic. And the Royals still looking for a home field or have that secured with SUNY Maritime out in the Bronx, which is a great aesthetic this year, taking on St. Anthony's and Cardinal Hayes. Mount St. Michael as well.
Tough playing on the road, though.
I agree.
When you don't have a home field, I know Baldwin's doing that this year in our league. It's hard.
How about that moon? What a shot.
That's a great moon right there.
That's Travis DeLuise on the sticks. One of the top cameramen this side of the Mississippi. Travis on top of it. He's the supplier for the Varsity Media hats as well. If you would like your own Varsity Media hat, hit up Travis on the social medias, and the $50 each is what he's saying. Well, $55 after tax, and then you got to throw in the delivery fee.
I was going to say, what happened to shipping?
Well, yeah. Well, no, he'll ship it to you. He's not, he's got a car. I think he'll take that on. Try all the way over there. With that said, we'll take a break, sort this out, get your hat orders in. You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Maspeth Federal Savings is here through it all. The ins and outs, the ups and downs. Through the winters, the summers, and even the spring of leaks. Know that Maspeth has your back. From luxury sheets to balance sheets to dancing under the stars, your mission is our mission. And when our community calls, we proudly step forward. So whether you need it now or planning for tomorrow, through all the twists and all the turns, you can always find us right here in your neighborhood.
Did you just have the best athletic year of your life? And now you want to show it off to college coaches? Well, let Varsity Media help you. Varsity Media's college recruiting videos show off your unique skills to help you land a spot on the team of your dream school. We'll provide music, spot shadow effects, and a link to send to your next coach. Contact us today for more information. Don't rely on word of mouth or cold emails. Let Varsity Media help you take your game to the next level. Under 2 minutes to play in the fourth quarter. 34-8 is the score. St. Francis Prep over Christ the King. And a few more possessions for the Royals as Fernandez lets it fly deep, and it's picked off. The Terriers take over. Nick Amadio. That's the second or third play that Amadio's made on defense for the Terriers, and that should just about do it.
At this point now, you really just want to run the ball. All right, you want to keep everybody safe. Get a couple more guys in the play. Give them a run. Or even just take a knee. You could take a knee 3 times, game, set, match. Both teams, right now, St. Francis Prep is going to feel good, getting the season off with a win, starting off 1-0, getting ready for next week. And Christ the King's got to get back to the drawing board. You got to stay positive with these kids. These kids are young. You can't beat them down. You got to take whatever positive is when you're watching film. As a coaching staff, when you're watching film with the kids, you got to sit there and say, listen, I know what the score is, but let's take these plays and say positive, 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 and build on it and get themselves ready for next week. This is a process. This is not going to happen overnight.
So with the clock rolling down, like you said, probably 1 or 2 knees for St. Francis Prep. Will pick up their first win of the year over their rivals, Christ the King. 34-8, and I'm sure you take the penalties out of the equation, but for St. Francis Prep, have to be all smiles at least with the victory. It's a long season, but you get it started on the right note.
Absolutely, and Coach Carroll will talk about the penalties. They'll talk about the undisciplined, play at certain points, but bottom line is this. Game 1, W, 34-8, revenge last year's loss, move forward.
That concludes today's game.
So St. Francis Prep will come off with the victory. They win it 34-8 over Christ the King with touchdowns from Peyton Buchanan, along with Tommy Zulo, Jonathan Nguyen, and Petros Hazamayas had a pair of field goals, as well as the Terriers improved to 1-0. Christ the King drops their first game of the year. They're 0-1. So that'll do it from Mitchell Field. For our executive producer, Ben Turchin, and our technical director, Chris Sweeney. Travis DeLuise and Angelo Caiazzo are 2 esteemed cameramen. For my partner, Mike Spina, this is John Perez saying so long from Mitchell Field. This has been a Varsity Media production on the Varsity Media Sports Network.